One out. Right, one.
Just stars two.
Great
Baseball stars two.
There's the pitch. Change. The Angels. This inning. Ball. The right one. There's the pitch. Ball. One out. Two out. Save. Strike one. The Griffins. This inning. Let's see what they do next time up. Foul! There's the pitch. You got it. You got it. It's a home run! The right one. One out.
Just playoff baseball.
The right one.
Two. Just stars two.
The right one. The right two. Right one.
Stars two.
There's the pitch. Right two. There's the pitch.
Stars two.
Change. The Angels managed to score this inning. Those of you who've been around since the playoffs 35 years ago are invited to the night game free of charge. Ball. There's the pitch. Save. There's the pitch. One out. Save. Two out. Save.
shadow threatening the safety of peaceful worlds. An evil scientist who frightens children and is bent on slavery. A giant robot has seized a peaceful world and carried it off. Aloha's evil plan is to turn it into a huge private retreat for himself. Universal City Hall, here to help the people. Robert can do the job. Let's go, Robert! Jump and go!
Ready to go? Yeah.
STP.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's STPL. My name is Kix and this could very well be the most important day of STPL Season 4. The four top teams, or four of the top teams, are currently going to be playing against each other. The only team missing today is Naz. iRk are almost tied with Ash as well, so I guess Ash can be counted with that, but definitely NetWars and iRk, two of the best teams outside of Korea. We have SouL Gaming, the three-time champions, and our newcomers, Wico, who seem to be proving themselves pretty strong so far. Not as strong as SouL, but I think we're going to have two very, very good matchups today. So just to go over the format very quickly, set 1 to 4, the lineups are selected in advance and all the games played at the same time. It is best of 5. And set 5 is the ace match, which means every player can compete again. So let's head on over to the VR studio because we're going to be doing this again because this is cool. And I don't care if you guys don't like it because I enjoy doing it. I put a lot of time and effort into actually trying to make this look cool. So I know some people have liked it. I've got some messages saying, oh, it's really, really cool you're doing this. So whatever, I'm going to keep doing it. I hope it's working this time because last time I didn't get it working. But either way, starting us off today, we're going to have iRk versus Wico. Two very, very, very good, strong teams. I cannot wait to see the two of them fight against each other. Wico have shown that they're very, very kind of aggressive with their play. That makes me wonder how this is going to go because iRk are relatively conservative, but of course they do have in their roster the Miracle Toss, who can make literally anything happen because he is such a good player. They also have Oya, one of the top 3 Terrans or top 3 Protoss players outside of Korea, and then of course they have Kame as well. Now the weird thing is, I think I may have put the overlay round the wrong way. I'm just gonna double check that because I think I've set it up for NetWars versus SouL first. Was that the one I was gonna do, or was I gonna do iRk versus SouL versus Wico? I cannot remember. We're starting with NetWars versus SouL. So we've got iRk and Wico to start us off. We've got NetWars versus SouL to start us off. To go back again to kind of redo what we were saying before, NetWars, one of the strongest teams in Europe, obviously a Poland-only team. They have the likes of, I think it's said True Touch and Bonus, but they're not NetWars anymore, but they have kogeT. They have Tarson now, who's come back and is doing incredibly well. And they also have Yeti, one of the 4 kind of foreign Protoss pillars in the STPL when it comes to win rate. You have Dewalt, Bonith, Yeti, and probably Oya at this point. Maybe Dragon is the other one. But then you also have the wonderful Mr. Zero himself, Mr. Bombastic. SouL, of course, have a very, very strong lineup consisting of pro players, ex-pros, as well as top amateurs as well. They do have foreign players on their team. They don't see as much play because they don't need to come out and play as such. They play in the BWCL, and that's why they've kind of split the two sides almost. But we do see Bonith, we do see Dandy, we do see Gorinich, we've seen Ziki a couple of times in the STPL as well. Hopefully, moving forward, we'll see them, but against the best teams, they will send out their best players because they know that they are not invincible. And especially when they play against players such as Dewalt and kogeT, they have to be very, very careful. Now, let's go in to introduce the teams for today. Let's actually move into the lineup straight away. I get the feeling we're going to have a relatively long cast today, so hopefully you guys are ready. But looking at here, we've got a TvZ to start us off on Rosen Bridge with Tarson versus Shine. A PvT between Yeti and Scan. Mr. Zero is going to have a ZVZ with Spire on Neo Moonglaive. And then we've got a TvT between kogeT and Hero. So this is why I put that. I remember why now. I put this one first because I know there is a couple of mirrors. The second matchup I don't think has any. Mirrors aren't that bad, but I know there are people who do prefer the non-mirror matchups, and I understand that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But this is a stellar lineup of players. Like Tarson, he's come back after a very, very long break to Brood War, and he is absolutely killing it. Like, he is doing so well. And basically, just both teams are really, really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go. Let's introduce our first two players. Starting us off here, as I said before, Tarson. He is incredibly good. He's won both of his games so far. Admittedly, he's not played a player on the level of Shine. But if there's one NetWars Terran outside of kogeT that can do this, it's going to be him. His opponent, obviously the pro player, the bag of builds, Mr. Shine himself. Shine, his only loss so far being to the Miracle Toss on La Mancha in a macro game there. That was a really, really good game. But SouL, definitely a strong team. They've got very, very strong players as well. But they are not unbeatable. They have been beaten before and they will be beaten again. And if anything, when you look at the maps we've got this season, this is the season to take down SouL.
Merry Xmas Quicks.
Thank you, Braino, for the $5 donation. Merry Christmas to you too. I'm going to say all my Christmas stuff at the end of the stream because this is my last stream before the new year. So, last stream of 2020, which is kind of insane. To be honest, I might stream again, but I might stream me playing. And that's going to be weird. But maybe that will be my Christmas gift to everyone. And yeah, Customuse is managing the, Korean side of their team, and he is doing a very, very good job. Aska, I'm from the UK. So we are going to be moving on to Rosen Bridge. This is a very weird map. We have seen some incredibly good games here. Hit 'em up versus Hirmu went really fast high for Hirmu, and then he kind of didn't respect how good Valkyries were against air, so he just kind of exploded. I don't think Shine is going to make the same mistake. Tarson is definitely going to have trouble going into this matchup, but I think given the positions, given the map, and given the matchup as well, this could be a chance for an upset here. Shine has been beaten before. Can he be beaten again? Let's find out as we get into game number 1. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom right-hand corner, fighting for NetWars. It's Tarson, our Polish Protoss player. And his opponent spawning up here on the island. It's going to be mainland versus island here. It's going to be our Peach Zerg player fighting for SouL from South Korea. It's Shine, the bag of builds. Okay, I'm going to talk about the game in a second, but there's been this guy in chat who has been typing 5s instead of T's, and Customuse is confused, and and the guy's like 5 equals T, broken keyboard, but he types a T to do it. That's really funny. That's a nice gag, but either way, a very weird map. I'm interested to see how Tarson's going to play this. When we saw Hit 'em Up go on this map against the Zerg, he did go for a quick expansion. Now, I'm hoping that Tarson doesn't try and play as if he's playing against someone on the mainland. One interesting build you could try here as Terran, but it's a massive risk because you don't know where your opponent is by airlifting barracks onto your opponent's island. Now, we did see that, I think, in one of the matchups with a factory. Which was an interesting play. We don't get too many people playing Terran on this map because there's not too many Terrans in the STPL. Now, I did think that we wouldn't see many Zergs, but Shine once again out here on the weird maps, representing his team. If there's one person on SouL who's going to be used to playing on weird maps, it's Shine. He is the king of weird builds. I nearly said the king of bag of builds, but that doesn't make any sense. Then Shine overall could show us something special here. Like, he went for a hatchery first, he's gone in spawning pool and gas. He's not going 3 hatch before pool like we have seen some Zergs do on this map. That's what Hirmu did. We've got a fast expansion though coming in from Tarson. Now Tarson did go and check for his opponent, and he didn't see him on the mainland, so he's going to know he's on an island, and he's actually going to see the Overlord. So Tarson knows exactly where his opponent is, and this is going to be where he's going to be able to diverge with what he does. Is he going to go for quick drops? Is he going to go for wraiths? Going for air on this map is pretty good as Terran, as we found out from Hit 'em Up, but obviously to get to air you have to defend against the early Mutalisks, and that can be a problem, especially against such an amazing Zerg player, such as Shine. Now Shine is going to be going into a 2-hatch lair. This is very likely for Mutalisks early on. Shine would not be out of character to go for a lurker build here and go for like a lurker drop on the natural, but there's not really a huge amount of space you can drop here in the Terran natural. Now we do have a factory being built here by Tarson. Now Tarson is going to build it over to the left. Now you can actually airlift over and land this onto here. And essentially, this would mean he can get vultures over in his opponent's base without his opponent scouting it, most likely. So this could be a very, very strong move. Shine is not going to build a sunken at home because there'll be absolutely no reason to do that. We've got the Spire coming in at the natural, which means it'll be an easy scout for the vultures. The Overlord can't go in. This is so funny. How can the Marine not see this? This is a weird Mexican standoff over here, but look at this. We've got double starport. Is he going triple starport? Yes, he is. Triple starport coming in from Tarson. So Tarson is going to be playing this in a very, very interesting way. And I am wondering how this is going to play out. Now the factory, here it comes. Oh my god, is Shine going to see this? Shine sees the factory. But he doesn't have any units. He's going to send a drone to try and block this, I think. But if this factory, if it lands, he has no units to defend against this. So he is going to have to worry about nothing but drone micro for the time being. He's going to put a sunken here, I think. I think he has to. There's a 4th hatchery before any Mutalisks. There's no Lings on the map at all. Oh, this is really clever. He's not going to waste money. He's just going to build a wall. The Great Wall of Shine. Here we go. And there's another evolution chamber. He is going to build 4 Evos because he knows all he has to do is defend against this vulture. And the vulture's not going to be getting through there. But by doing this, he's actually wasting 4 drones. So this isn't without fault. He cancels one. He rebuilds it. He's cancelling them right at the end. He lets one finish though. He lets 2 finish. A little bit risky there from Shine. But that one is going to go into a Hydra Den. But that was a really clever wall. And oh my god. He's lifting the factory into the main base. Here we go. The Mutalisks are coming out, but they're not going to go back into the main to check for this. The Vulture going to be hitting up here. Remember, back at home... Oh, we have the first Wraith out. I was going to say he's going triple Starport Wraith. It's going to be Cloak. Tarson is in an incredible position here. The factory getting into the very, very corner of the map, trying to hide itself. And this is the perfect situation for our Terran player here. Now Tarson building up his Wraith count. He's going to have more Wraiths than there are Mutalisks very soon. And that's only going to get better and better. He can actually go into an armory and go into Valkyries if he wants to. But looks like he's going to stick with mass Wraith. And I definitely feel like this is... Wait, he's killing his Hydra Den. Oh my god, he messed up his gas by building the Hydra Den. I didn't think the Hydra Den would do this, but I guess he doesn't need to worry about lurkers. And that's going to be it. So this Hydra Den's going to be going down. But while that Hydra Den's going down, we have vultures being built in his opponent's base. There's still Scourge flying around on the map. We've got a lot of Wraiths here already. 6 Wraiths and a Marine to sort of group them up with. Couple of Scourge coming in, trying to find the workers. He does see the triple starport, so he's most likely gonna go into something here. The Wraiths, the Mutalisks have found the vultures, so a little bit unfortunate. He should be able to get 1 drone at least. He should have got 2 there. I think that was 6 things here. But the factory's going to go down. It's not the biggest deal. It's wasting the Mutalisk time, which is the most important thing. A second Vulture going to come out. He could actually go and get another couple of drones, or at least 1. He needs to try and do some damage. But looks like he is just going to waste the time, because here come the Wraiths here. There's 7, 8 Wraiths even. They're sniping down drones. And Tarson is looking in a very, very good spot. The Wraiths could actually come in and target down some of these Mutalists if they wanted to. Now he needs to make sure he's making use of the cloak energy. He doesn't want to waste it. If you're not going to be attacking, you need to decloak, which is what he is going to do. But I feel like he could do a little bit more damage. We've got a lot of Scourge coming in. There is a Spore here. So we do have Spores ready and waiting for Shine. But Tarson is still in an okay position. He's got a lot of units. He's going to transition into Valkyries, I think. This should be an armory. No, it's an academy. He's actually going into barracks, so he's going to play this standard from here. And Hedgehog, it is the real Shine. Bagger builds. Now a Marine is going to scout some of those Scourge coming towards his base. So the Wraiths are going to go and clean this up. Does take... No, he kills both of the Scourge. Nicely done. Now, we do have the Hive being taken down from Tarson. This is going to allow him to expand. Obviously, Shine already on 4 bases in a pretty strong position already. The Queen's Nest is done. Hive is coming in already. This is a very easy map for Zerg to get to Hive. Now, I hope that Tarson doesn't make the same mistake. Hit him up. No, it wasn't hit him up. It was a Protoss player. It was Kingdom versus... Who was the player he played against from DM? It was Kingdom versus JD Conan. And he didn't kill the hives, so the Zerg just kept building more and more hives, more Niduses everywhere. Now Queens are out. This is actually a big deal. Ensnare could absolutely destroy this army. We're going to have to see Tarson be very, very careful here. He cannot afford to lose these Wraiths. He has been building these up the entire game. We do have the armory coming in, so if he can get some Valkyries in this mess here of Wraiths, then he's going to be in a good spot. Now this is, of course, not Shine's Hive, it is a neutral hive. Which for some reason doesn't appear on the minimap, but it does when you're on Shift Tab, but I like Blue versus Peach, so we'll keep this. Now the Wraith's coming in, he will get one of those units. Now he does need to be careful, he gets a nice shot on the Mutas, and then flies back. But as I mentioned before, if he gets one ensnare on these Wraiths, they are most likely going to die, so he has to be careful. Tarson with the scan on the Hive. Hydralisk Den being added again, Defiler Mound coming in, and a second Hydra Den. So we've actually got double Hydra upgrades coming in here from Shine. I don't think this is a mistake. This is definitely one of those patented weird Shine moves. We've got a Wraith over here checking for a Nidus. He's going to move his Wraiths up here to check for another one, because he knows a Nidus Canal is coming in soon, and he cannot afford to let Zerg to get on the mainland. He doesn't have a big ground army as of yet. We've got the first Valkyrie coming in. Triple Valkyrie being built while he's going for a science facility. The Wraith, the Hive is finally killed down here, so he's going to be able to take his third base out of gas. And we are going to have a late game TvZ with Terran building 3 vessels at a time, and Zerg currently stuck on an island. A lot of creep colonies being added here because Shine knows that Tarson is going to be going for some drops. Now checking those, we do see that he will see this. The Marine going to scout the fact that the Mutas have come up here. There's still no Nidus Canal just yet, so he doesn't have to worry about that just this second. But he is going to drop... Oh no, there we go. The Nidus is up. Where has he built the Nidus? So it's at the third. Thank you, Skycycle, for the raid. Now there is the Ensnare, but this is a lot of Valkyries right now. The Wraiths are very strong as well. The Mutalist taking a lot of damage. They do have +1 carapace already, as you can already tell, but the Wraiths are getting it into a position to kill the Spire here, and that would actually be a pretty big deal. Another Ensnare going down, which means this is going to slow everything down. Looks like the Valkyrie's trying to chase away these units, but he killed the Nidus. That is the important thing. He killed the Spire as well, and he gets away with his Wraiths. This is absolutely perfect for Tarson. Everything is looking pretty good. We've got Marines going single file into the middle of the map. Definitely a little bit of a mistake there. Losing control of his ground army while he goes for his air army. But during this, he is building his command center. We still have the Wraith over here watching for any Niduses. But here comes another big air engagement. Looks like the Valkyries have gone down for the most part. The Wraiths need the Marine support. Tarson needs to get on top of his multitasking here. Losing those Wraiths a pretty big deal, but we already have the tech switch. We've got 2 vessels out on their own though. Where is the Marine Micro? Here we go. We finally get some Marine Micro coming in. Does save one of the vessels, but not the other one. Okay, so the Marines are going to go over here. Now, the longer this game goes on, the harder it's going to get for Shine, as he needs to find a way off onto the mainland. The Marines are moving out into the middle. The Spire is, of course, down, so no more Mutalisks are going to be on the way. No Guardians to worry about, but we do have Overlord drops coming in. And that is when Shine starts to get very, very powerful. The Wraiths have gone down. The Valkyries went down as well. And there isn't really much in the way to be able to defend against mass drops, but Tarson is just going to keep an eye on the middle of the map. He wants to make sure that his opponent is not going to be getting off of the island, and he is going to try and starve his opponent down. But yeah, SouL is an international team. They have a huge amount of Korean players, some of the best players outside of Korea as well. But essentially, SouL play their Koreans mostly in STPL, because most of the foreigners play in BWCL, which happens just after. So rather than making everyone play 2 games, they sort of split the rosters. Now we do have a drop coming in. A big drop actually from Shine. Now if Tarson can get this, much like we saw Dewalt take... Oh my god, look at that. Look at that beautiful scan. He knows the drop is coming. We've got Irradiates going down on a lot of the Defilers, but he has to defend against this drop. Here we go. We've got some vessels coming in to try and defend against this. Let's keep an eye on the supply. No Irradiates going down here. The tank actually moving out of the way. But this is a lot of Marines, a lot of vessels. Can he defend against this drop? The CC has been lifted, but unfortunately he didn't do anything to the Overlords, so all of these units are coming out. Finally an Irradiate going down, but is this too much damage? Shine has done a lot here. We do have a couple of tanks now, which should be able to help defend against this. But this is one base that isn't mining, and that is definitely going to cause some problems. The tank looks like it's going to get sniped as well. Tarson definitely losing control of his army a little bit. Not the best Marine control. Loses an engineering bay as well. And Shine is going to secure his position over here on the mainland. And while this is going on, we have a Nidus coming up on the other island, so Shine is getting ready to take the other side of the map, and that is when things are going to become problematic for Tarson.
Quicks, thank you for all the effort and time you put into delivering quality boudoir casts. I really appreciate it, and I know it's not easy. I hope you keep it up.
Thank you very much, Braino Jack. We've got Shine coming in with another drop. This time he has a Defiler with it, so he plagues the vessels. He gets a swarm down on the Hydras, and this is definitely going to be causing a lot of trouble for Tarson. Look, getting those high... Oh my god, he's losing vessels. You can't afford to lose vessels in this point, but he does manage to get the Defiler. The Mutalisks are going to come back. The bases starting to come up over here in the bottom left, and once again, Hydra's under swarm, causing Terran a lot of trouble. The Hydra's actually run out of the swarm for some reason. But there we go. Looks like this will eventually get cleaned up. But we definitely need better drop defense for our Terran player. And look at this. Shine knows the units have gone from the middle of the map, so he's going to drop in the middle. Really showing a masterclass of how Zerg should play on this map. Tarson moving to try and intercept this. He does know something like this is possible. Does need to be more careful with his Marine Micro, but when you've got so much going on, it can be quite difficult. He is going to pull back to some vessels. The vessel's obviously very low on health. Hasn't been able to repair those. We've got Plague coming down on the Marines, and it looks like Tarson may be in a little bit too much trouble. He was doing well to begin with, losing all those Wraithsmen. He had nothing to defend against the drops, and all of a sudden Shine is in a great position. But this has been a great game so far. Now it looks like we do have another swarm coming in. Swarm so good. The Marine's going to use the swarm to hide as well, because at the end of the day the Hydras can't damage you. You can't damage them, but no one is going to be hurting anybody else. Now we do have Mutalisks coming into this other base. Tarson neglecting defense down here. Definitely going to hurt him. I think he really... I wouldn't say underestimated Shine, given how good of a player that Shine is, but I definitely feel like he could have played this slightly differently. He did his best, and he's fought really, really hard. But Shine is going to be able to get this command center. He's not repairing it. We've got the Marines coming in to help clean this up, but they won't get there in time. And Tarson back on 2 bases. Shine expanding to the bottom left. And Tarson has no recourse for this. He is going 3 vessels still. He is getting his plus, I think this is 2 armor at this point. Yeah, no, plus 1 armor. He's gone 2-1. Yeah, Tarson, I think, showing not his age as such, but he's definitely showing a few struggles when it comes to micro. Tarson is, of course, a very old school Terran player. He played in WCG and TSL, I think. Now, I don't think we're going to see an infest from Shine. From what I understand, Zerg players in Korea don't really infest because it's very disrespectful. But yeah, if you don't know how the orange smoke works, that's called Dark Swarm. And essentially what that is a spell that basically makes all ranged units miss. So if there's no splash on the attack does nothing. But here we go, looks like we've got the Marines moving forward. But once again, getting caught off guard, a huge plague on the vessels again. And I think this could be the nail in the coffin. Tarson is running on empty. Shine is starting to fall all over the map here. And while Tarson was in an incredibly good position, things just went a little bit P-shaped and he loses another 2 vessels. He does get one of those, but Hydra's sniping off one of the other vessels. It just feels like in the macro, Tarson hasn't been doing too bad, but micro-wise, I think he's just let himself down just a little bit. There's been a few things that just haven't gone completely to plan, but he's done incredibly well to play this well against Shine. He's just struggling a little bit as we get further into the late game. Realistically, the move that won Shine the game was the drop. And that drop only worked because Shine killed all of the Wraiths. If the Wraiths were still alive, like, the problem I have with that drop is the fact that Tarson saw it coming. He just didn't have his units in a position to deal with it. A lot of his Reddit Marine was sort of idle in the middle of the map, and it just shows maybe a little bit where Tarson is maybe a little bit out of practice. He's been playing a lot recently, did quite well in RCG, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm not too sure, maybe it was BSL. I think he won BSL Gosu League. But basically, Tarson, very good Terran player. He's still doing okay. The game isn't over just yet. But of course, with Shine having a huge foothold, a huge stranglehold over here on the mainland, it's so difficult for Tarson to be able to push this. He's essentially pushing into a base that isn't there to kill a Nidus. And there we go. Tarson GG. Shine played very well. Tarson played very well as well. A great first game to start us off in the series. And when we get back in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be heading into game number 2. It's going to be a PvT. It's a PvT between Yeti and Scan. So see you guys when we get back. Okay, guys, welcome back. Thank you, Brainiac, sorry, for the donation. I'm really thankful for your message as well. I do apologize, the name was really small for me, and I misread it, so that's my bad, but thank you as well. I really do appreciate it. Now, the players we're going to see, it's not going to be Tarson. I need to press my button, which I forgot to do in the break, which is the one job I have while there's a break going on. We're going to have Yeti starting us off here for NetWars. He's rank 18 in the STPL overall. He is a very, very good Protoss player. For a while, he had the most wins of any Protoss player in the STPL. He had the highest win streak and highest win rate of any Protoss player in the STPL. That was a while ago. Yeti suffered with some hand problems, he's got wrist issues, but he still comes out every single week. He plays incredibly well every single time, and if there's one player that proves why team leagues have a purpose, it's Yeti, because Yeti, he may not do very well in the BSL, he may not do incredibly well in solo leagues or solo tournaments, but when he comes out and represents NetWars, Yeti is an absolute beast, and that is something that I think a lot of people don't know, and there's a lot of people like that in Korea. A lot of players don't play their best in individual leagues, but when team leagues arrive, when you had pro league players like Last, who in individual leagues back in the day wasn't very good, he was only really good in pro league, because team leagues, they are their own format, they are their own special thing, and that's why I'm glad I get to run one, because we get to see those kinds of games and players and stories as well. So let's have a look at his opponent. This is a man that you all recognize. It is going to be Scan. Scan, an incredibly strong Terran player, rank 2 in the STPL overall. He's got an 84% win rate over 19 games against Protoss, but we have seen Protoss players beat him. He's lost to many different players. He's lost to 6 different people. They have played before, Yeti and Scan. Scan did win the last time they met each other, but will Yeti be able to get his revenge? We're going to be going into one of our newer maps for STPL Season 4. It is going to be Desert Dwellers, a really fun 2-player map. It's very Blitz-esque, Blitz-X-esque. That does not sound right. We've had some really, really good TVPs here. Yeti versus Radley was incredibly good, and I'm hoping we'll get another game as good as that as we move into game number 2. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we do have the red Terran player fighting for SouL. From South Korea, it's Scan. And once again, in the TvP matchup, we get the Protoss music. I am cursed. Okay, and starting us off here in the top right-hand position, we do have the purple Protoss player fighting for NetWars. It's Yeti. I see Damn Thunk in chat saying TvP against foreigners is Imba, maybe except versus Dewalt. You should watch Yeti. Yeti is an incredibly good Protoss versus Terran player. He is one of the only people in the STPL who has beaten a twice ASL qualified player in a 40-minute macro game. He played Bjol on Athena 2, and he won with Carrier's super late game. It was an incredible game. It was in the Season 1 round finals, I think it was, or it may have been in the playoffs, actually, like the Season 1 playoffs, but it was an incredibly good map, an incredibly good match as well, and I think it's up on the YouTube highlighted as one of the must-watch series. Very, very good series, very, very good games. And that's all I can really say. Like, STPL has had some incredible games. Like, we're going to have Yeti going for 12 next. Going for 12 next against Scan is incredibly risky on a 2-player map, but Yeti is the kind of player who knows he can make this work. So let's see how it's going to go. Scan is most likely going to go for a fast expand. He's got his gas up. He will scout the 12 next, which means we may see him go for a Vulture Marine SCV all-in. But that means if Yeti can hold on to it, he's going to win. essentially. Like, it's so hard for a Terran player to win if that is held. Now, Scan is the kind of player who could do that, but will he be able to is the question we all have. No expansion yet, but you can already see the first Marine is heading on over across the map. Yeti does see this. He sees no expansion yet, and he will be able to go in and scout the factory timing. So Yeti should know what's coming up. He sees another Marine building. Now, Scan wasn't constantly building Marines. This was a delayed second Marine. So I don't think he's going to go for a Marine SCV all in here. That wouldn't make too much sense. You need as many Marines as possible. But it's not impossible, essentially. So we could still see it. It could be a little bit delayed. But Terran have a few timings they can hit when it comes to a 12 next. But 12 next is already up. It's mining. And Yeti is already starting to see the benefits. Now the first two Marines heading on over the map. We've got Yeti moving his Zealot out. Now the Marines are actually going to run directly through the center. It's the quickest way. But it also means the Zealot is going to be able to get in and do some damage to them. And this means he's not going to be able to build a bunker. Yeti actually going for 2 Zealots here. That isn't something you normally want to do in this situation, but it actually really does help. Because Zealots do incredibly well against Marines and SCVs. Vultures they struggle against, of course. But now he's perfectly safe. The first Dragoon is out. That's going to help him defend against the Vultures. He's got a gateway coming up the front with a shield battery. So he has a wall for the Vulture. The Vulture's not going to get in. And Yeti is going to be starting this game with a very big advantage. Now you can see the Vulture is in a position where it's going to try and run in, but the Dragoon perfectly timed here. The shield battery used to save the Zealot as well. Nicely, nicely done. Probe going to come in and try and go for a scout. Does want to make sure he knows what his opponent's doing. He is going to see what we can see, which is a bunker, an expansion, and he is going to be feeling very safe now, because when your opponent's going for an expansion, it means they currently don't have a starport. It doesn't mean they're not necessarily getting one, because Scan is. Drops are incredibly powerful on this map. An SCV is still alive in the main. But Yeti can defend against drops. He's played against Scan before, he's played against drops before, and he plays a lot of games with kogeT, and kogeT does like drops in TvP, so he should be in an okay position. He's obviously not showing off any of his tech just yet, because he's kind of hidden it at the back, but the SCV is finally going to go down. At least it should do. Yeah, there we go. We've got a Vulture, laying mines at the possible third base locations, one in the middle to stop any counterattacks coming through. But Yeti just going to expand to his mineral only. So once again, Yeti getting a little bit more ahead here. He's just making sure that he gets his expansion up. Scan has been building nothing but Vultures, and he's going in for mines and speed. The dropship is coming in, but the position of Yeti's units means he should be okay to defend against this. We've got a pylon to help defend. He should really put a pylon up here. That's going to be the most important place to look. But Scan is doing really good with his mine placement. He's not going to have any mines when he gets into his opponent's base. But realistically, he doesn't need it, because he knows there's going to be no counterattacks coming at all. And he's going to try and get into a position to go for a drop. Let's see if Yeti is going to see this coming. Yeti should know that drops are possible. I really hope Yeti isn't going to be asleep at the wheel here. It looks like he hasn't seen it just yet. And it looks like Scan is going to be able to get into the main base without being spotted. And this is going to cause a few problems. Only dropping... Well, okay, he's going to drop all 4. He was only going to drop 2 to begin with. But the probes need to be pulled out in the main. He needs to evacuate his main right now. Gonna lose a lot of probes while this is happening. A little bit asleep at the wheel there was Yeti. Losing a load of probes. He does have the 3 gateways, of course. Now, there's no mines in this drop, which is actually a pretty big deal. Because with no mines, it means essentially there's no additional damage coming in and the Dragoons can just run around. So, looks like the drop trying to come over to the third base here. The probes pulled away immediately, but they're actually going to pull away from the Dragoons. You don't want that to happen. Losing more and more probes here. Scan getting in a very, very good spot. The dropship did go down, I believe, so that's a little bit of momentary relief. But Yeti is starting to struggle now. He's down probes. He's building probes off of all 3 of his nexuses again. But that is definitely not something you want to have happen as a Protoss player. He does have time to come back, scan. He's not gearing up for a 5-fact push or anything like that just yet. He's only on 2 factories. So as long as Yeti can keep up with his probe production, he's still going to be in a good spot. His probe saturation isn't too bad, but his main is completely empty, so he needs to transfer back. I think he's probably not realized that he didn't transfer his probes back in there. There we go. We're going to have some go over from both of his bases. Now we have another dropship out. It's going to come in once again. Yeti, once again not defending his main. This is a big, big mistake. But luckily enough, he didn't send too many probes back in there. So the probes are not going to leave the main this time. Where are the Dragoons? Okay, the probes are going to leave, but a little bit too late. Now there should be drops with this mine, this set. Yeah, there are a couple of mines. Not too many though. Scan definitely using his mines really well. The dropship gonna fly over. Oh my god, this is good by Yeti. Getting into a position to intercept the dropship. This is gonna trap it between his main and his 3rd base, but there's no defense at the 3rd. Oh no! Looks like Scan is gonna drop his vultures down here. No, he's actually just gonna run around, and he's gonna run into a couple of Dragoons here, so the dropship is gonna go down. That was a very uncharacteristic mistake by here. Now, a lot of probes transferring back into the main. There's still no defense back up here, but given the fact he's killed 2 dropships, it's very unlikely for Scan to build a 3rd. But when it's Terran, when it's on a 2-player map, you can never be too sure. An observer going to be moving out here, keeping an eye on what's going on. Going to see that there's no 3rd base, but will he see the command center? He needs to check for the command center. Yes, he's going to. So he does know his opponent wants to expand. We've got 5 factories here, an engineering bay coming in, so there's actually not much in terms of detection. But Yeti being a little bit careful with his observer. He doesn't really know what's going on in Scan's main base at the moment. Looks like one of the Dragoons has played a very dangerous game of chicken, running right next to a mine and not setting it off. Now we do have an observer with the Dragoons. This is very, very good. One of my major problems with Protoss is they walk into mines, but Yeti not going to be that player. Yeti getting into a position to try and attack the 3rd base. He's going to get in before the tanks are sieged, and he can actually kill the 3rd base here. Looks like he does have to be careful. There is a lot of tanks here, but if he can reset the tank count, he is going to be in a good spot. But there's tanks on the high ground as well. Yeti not doing the best with his Dragoons. He is killing, well, he's killed 2 tanks, but I don't think this was worth it. He does kill a 3rd tank, 4th tank maybe, but he should have gone for the command center. He should have ran for the command center there. The observer goes down. Obviously in the heat at the moment, he's just doing what he can to try and slow down Scan's army, which is good. But Scan getting hold of that 3rd gas is going to start to be in a very strong position economically. Another observer is going to be over here on the right hand side. We've got 2 Stargates and a fleet beacon coming in, 3 Stargates. So Yeti is going to be relying on his signature move, the carriers. Scan scans it as well. Perfect scan location by Scan. And this is going to be Scan is going to gear up for a timing attack. We should see a couple of factories be added on here. We're going to see some Goliaths being produced quite soon. And once +2, is this going to be +2 or +3 attack? +2 attack. Once +2 attack is done, then he is going to go for a push. And it's going to be very hard for Yeti to defend against this. Now we do have some Dragoons pushing in, forcing some of Scan's units back. Not the biggest of deals, he is just going to run away with these, but just keeping Scan on his toes. Scan going for another scan to try and take out one of the observers. I think he got it. No, he didn't. It's over here. But Yeti, of course, going for triple Stargate carrier here. We've got another couple of pylons coming in. Fleet Interceptor upgrade should be coming in. Another observer goes down. Nice scanning by Scan. Very, very well done. But Yeti is definitely not out of this game just yet. The longer the game goes on, the harder it's going to be for Yeti, because Scan is going to hit that timing attack before the carriers and the interceptors are going to be ready. But don't forget, in going for a lot of Goliaths, his ground army is going to be a little bit smaller. The carriers have very, very short amount of space to fly to get into Scan's main. And to move from here to here as Terran with Goliaths is impossible. It takes forever. Looks like Yeti going to clean up some of the mines. This is going to remove some of that visual intel that Scan does have. Very, very important to do. Makes pushing a little bit harder as well because you can't be sure exactly where your opponent's army is, unlike when the mains are there. One of the observers going to go down again. Looks like 3 of the Dragoons going to get a little bit too far forward there. Going to fall back just at the last second, only losing 1. But basically, we are going to need to see Yeti prepare for a push. He knows that Scan has to push. We've got a 4th base coming up incredibly close to the Terran, but he knows that the Terran's army is in the middle of the map. So he still has a chance, but this is a big, big army. Yeti's army movement this game has been a little bit funky. We've got Scan scanning ahead again. Sees where those 4 Dragoons are. The Vulture's coming in behind this as well. And Yeti needs to defend this. If he does not defend this push, the game will be over. The Inceptor upgrade I don't think is done. No, so he's only got 4 Inceptors. He needs that a little bit sooner. But Scan is going to be trying to push up ramps to try and push into this. So if Yeti is going to make a stand, he has to hold here. He has to hold here. And he has to hold here. Because these are the 3 most important places on the map for him. He needs to buy time for the carrier count to go up. Now, Yeti is struggling just a little bit, losing a lot of units for free, trying to hold on to this this Nexus. I mean, the Nexus isn't really too consequential. Neither is the mineral only. He just has to build the carrier count. Now, back at home, Scan is replacing with nothing but Goliaths. He knows the timing. And he's already killed he's killed the 4th base. He's going to be able to move into a position to deal with this. We've got the Inceptors coming out. They're not full just yet though, but this is a good timing to come in. We've got Zealots moving in on top of the Goliaths, not the tanks. The tanks at the back, unable to really do anything, not losing a single carrier just yet. If he does lose carriers, it's game over, but if he can keep them alive, he still has a chance. It's 4 carriers, there's going to be another 3 coming out soon. Looks like he's had to cancel 1, so it's going to be another 2. We've got going up to 5 carriers now, very, very important. That's a pretty big break point. 6, of course, is the optimal number, but looks like the carrier is going to try and hold on to this ramp. Scan expanding down into the bottom left-hand corner, but the carrier is trying to get into a position to deal with the Goliaths. He's slowly killing them, but he is losing a lot of Inceptors. He needs to rebuild them, and I think this could be the timing in which Scan could win the game. Goliaths coming in from behind, one of the carriers getting low, going to go down. This is a massive, massive deal. And I think this could be a little bit too much for our Protoss player from Poland. He's done well up until this point. But unfortunately, the carriers came out a little bit late. The Inceptor upgrade was late. And he wasn't able to take the engagements that he needed to do. Losing all those probes at the beginning really jump-started this. If he had managed to defend the drop better, he definitely could have won this game. But there we go. GG. Yeti taps out. Scan wins game number 2. And that's going to take us into game number 3 when we get back after this short break.
Hello, Major League fans. This is Michael Beard. The Angels have a new lineup for the first game. T-Ride 2.
We gotta know.
One out. T-Ride 1.
Just Stars 2. Baseball Stars 2.
There's the pitch.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3. It's going to be a ZVZ. Starting us off here, we have Mr. Bombastic himself, Mr. Zero. He's not done too well in ZVZ so far in the STPL, but he has played against some incredibly good players. I'd say the win that he had against Unimu was probably the biggest upset, but he still did pretty well. He's obviously a boss for doing so much for the foreign scene as well. Let's have a look at his opponent. Fighting over here for SouL is going to be Spire. Spire, a very good amateur player from South Korea. Was in Bai, if I remember correctly, now in SouL. He's done pretty well win rate wise against Zerg. He's actually 9-1. So I think this is going to be a hard game for Mr. Zero, but anything can happen, especially in ZVZ. The map we're going into is going to be Neo Moon Glaive. One of our like older maps in the STPL, one of the 2 older maps we've got. This map's from 2009, 2010, and it's a very, very fun map. ZVZ, we've only had one so far. Not many Zergs have actually gone out on this map, and if they do, they usually get ZVP. So the last ZVZ we had on this map was in 2018 in May, which is really crazy. That was Whistler versus Mind Flayer a very, very long time ago. But let's get into it. It's game number 3 on Neo Moon Glaive, Zero versus Spire. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the teal, fighting for NetWars. It's Mr. Zero. And his opponent spawning up here currently on match point in the yellow from South Korea. It's SouL's Spire. Once again, it is a ZVZ. One thing I'm going to have to make sure I do this time, which I often forget, is to pay super close attention to the early build orders. I'm not a Zerg player. I forget how fast like ZVZ goes, so I always miss the like the opening builds because I'm always reading chat. But today, I'm gonna concentrate. Medina would be proud. We do have both players going for 9 drones. We've got an Overlord coming up for Mr. Zero. We've got an Overlord coming up for Mr. Spire as well. And looks like Spire is going to go possibly for a gas trick. Could just be going for an early gas. Is something you can do in ZVZ. Meanwhile, Zero is going to play this without any gas for the moment. Yeah, so it's going to be gas first into spawning pool here for Spire. So that's all on 9 supply as well. He didn't add any more drones. Now, if Zero goes for a 12 hatchery here, we could be in a little bit of trouble. Ah, Spire was a semi-pro who was on STX SouL, according to Custom Use. I didn't realize. Was he like on their B team or something? Because I don't think I ever remember seeing him in like Pro League or anything. Which is why I thought he was an amateur. Okay, so it is going to be a 12 hatch. No, 12 pool. No, 12 hatch in base, 12 pool, 12 gas, 4 Zero. So Zero's not in the worst position. His hatch is in a place that he can defend it. But he is going to be up against a 9 pool speed. Whoops. If you press 0, apparently the win-loss ratio comes up for somebody. I don't think that's me, because I've not played games on this account. I'm assuming that must be Zero's account, which is pretty good. 31-7 is crazy. Unless that's Spire. That might be Spire, actually. Because I'm guessing Spire's only really played STPL on this account. And Cheese Weekly and stuff when he's played in that. But the first Zerglings are on the way. We actually had Zero going for a drone scout. That is not a common move in a ZVZ, but because he has the second hatchery, he can afford it. Now, the worrying thing is, he's actually drawing the Zerglings back towards his base. If he ran to the other spawn, Spire would not know where he's spawning. So this is a little bit interesting. I don't know why Zero would send the drone this way. I guess he wants to lure him back in. He's going to get his Zerglings to the ramp just in time, so nicely done. Now we're going to have this weird standoff you get in ZVZ. Looks like Zero going to try and break down his ramp. I don't really agree with this choice. It is going to be 3 versus 3, but of course Spire will have the advantage on the Lings early on. Zero has to win this game if he wants to keep NetWars alive in the series. Of course, we've got another set of 8 lings coming in. He's ahead in drones still, of course, because he did build those earlier drones, so that's going to benefit him. The lair is finished after Spire's. Spire going for his Spire already, as well as a Sunken in his main base. He knows he's up against 2 hatch in the main, so he's going to prepare for a Zergling counterattack most likely, and that is exactly where he's gone. I do wonder if we'll ever get to the point where Zerg players start playing like Flash played random Zerg and go for hidden bases and stuff. Because in ZVZ it feels like hidden bases wouldn't necessarily be that bad. I guess the thing is they're not very helpful. Like, they don't give you any SimCity, they don't give you anywhere to defend. And if they get found, the game's over, essentially, in ZVZ. But feels like it could work out, but we've got an Overlord in the main, gonna see that there is a Sunken, sees there's a Spire. Spire actually went for his own second hatchery in his main once he scouted Zero's, so he is gonna have the same lava production, but Zero is currently at a supply advantage for the time being, and that is gonna continue. But he is, of course, going to have to worry about his mutas being later, which is going to be the problem now. Zero is going to try and break up this ramp. Can he do it? Looks like the Zergling micro pretty good from Spire's side, pretty good from Zero's side as well, but attacking kind of piecemeal, which is not good because he's going to lose all of his Zerglings here. Looks like we've got a lot of damage, or not a lot of damage done to Spire's Lings, a lot of damage on Zero's because he'd lose a load, but he does have the bottom of the ramp still. Spire cannot break down, but Zero going to try and move up again. He's moving up piecemeal. He doesn't want to do that. He needs to go in all together, or that's going to happen. So he loses that engagement. That's definitely not going to be helping him out, but he's still in the game. He has his own Lings back home to defend. Using the extra lava that Spire's going to have used for Muteless here, he's going to have gone for some more Lings. So he's going to try and flood Lings one more time. This will force the Muteless back home. It will force the Lings back home, and it'll give Zero a chance to really threaten a counter. The backstab, the threat of a backstab here is the reason why Zero currently isn't dying. Because the Muteless, obviously the count is going to be higher. We've got the first couple of Scourge coming in, so it's going to be 3 mutas, 4 mutas actually with 2 Scourge, 4 mutas with 4 Scourge actually, against just 3 mutas and 2 Scourge at the moment. All the lava is going to be going towards these air units though for Zero. No upgrade in the pipeline yet for Zero, no upgrade for Spire either. But so far this has been a pretty cool game. Obviously there is still the threat of a backstab. Zero being very careful with his Lings as well because he doesn't want to get killed by his opponents because he doesn't have a Sunken or anything back at home. The Muteless count is continuing to grow over here in Zero's base, but he is going to lose another Overlord, and this is going to supply block him at the worst possible timing. This is a lot of air units from Spire already. Zero doesn't have that many just yet, so he does need to be careful. He needs the perfect engagement here. Going to use the Overlord as cover. Makes it a little bit harder for Spire to micro, but I think this could be... Oh, he gets a nice set of Scourge. But so does Spire as well. A lot of damage being done here. Some of the Glaives are going to be eaten up by the drones here, which is going to help, but obviously losing your drones is not what you want. Zero and Spire both on 4 Muteless now. Spire going to fall back, and Zero takes the best possible engagement he could have done at that specific situation. A lot of the Lings did get split up and taken down, so Spire going to be moving in with his Lings to try and do some counterattack damage. It's hit the point of the evening now where my room is getting quite cold, and Custom use, Zero doesn't use the... Unfortunately, he doesn't use the NetWars tag because he doesn't have any space because of his BSL accounts on Europe to make one. He cleared it with me ages ago. He's got a very valid excuse, so that's why. kogeT is the same. He has like a load of different IDs that he can't delete. But I think kogeT may have a NetWars ID now. He didn't in the last season though. But here we go. Looks like Zero going to be moving out here. Looks like it is quite a few... quite a few mutas against quite a few mutas. Obviously, the more the game goes on, the higher the muta count is going to go. We've got 7 here. We've got 7 here. The Lings obviously eating a lot of the damage. Looks like Scourge going to come in. 2 of the drones coming down, but 1 of the mutas going down. And this is going to give a 1 muteless advantage over here, but he has to pull back. He has to respect the Lings. And if he loses another drone, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But he's doing okay. Zero is ahead of Muteless again. Although there is another 2 Muteless coming in, so we'll have to see how his Muteless count increases himself. Looks like we are going to have 8 versus 8, I think it is. Yeah, so we've got the same number once again. But, oh, Zero loses another Overlord. You can't be losing Overlords at times like this, but it's so difficult. Why was the Overlord in the middle of the map? A little bit unfortunate. Spire definitely playing well. You can see the Spire's Overlords are all in the other corner of the map because he knows that he doesn't want to lose any. Now, obviously, the more that Zero is supply blocked, the further ahead that Spire is going to get. The Muteless in the middle of the map. Looks like the Muteless from Spire pulled back. He's just kind of waiting for an upgrade, I think. No upgrade yet. He's just kind of waiting for Zero to try and counterattack him with the Lings. So the Lings are going to come in, find the Muteless, fall back. Now, the funny thing about where the Overlords are is this is kind of a bait, because the second Zero goes up to try and kill those, he loses his main. That is why Zero should really send all of his Overlords down here if he wants to keep them alive, but it is hard to do that. He's trying to put them in a place where they can help him. He is coming back in supply. He is down 3 workers still. Looks like Spire going to use one of his additional workers to build a hatchery at the natural. Whether or not he can keep that alive is another story. There is still going to be a big engagement coming in with the Mutelisks. Did we ever see the upgrade come in for Zero? No. So no upgrade for either player. It's going to be nothing but Muter and Scourge versus Muter and Scourge. No additional calculations need to be made here. But is Mr. Zero going to have enough against Spire? That is the question. We've got 12 Mutelisks here, 4 Scourge against 11 Mutelisks, 6 Scourge, and we should see Zero wait for at least 1 more set. So he's going to have another set of Scourge. It's going to come down purely to micro here, but if Zero can win this engagement, he can win the game, and he can keep NetWars alive in the series. But if he loses this engagement, that is going to be the end of the game, like without a doubt. Now, looks like Zero getting ready to push in. Lings are going to go for the natural hatchery here. There's not many Lings back at home. Zero should really fight over his Lings, though. Looks like he is going to get one of the Overlords. Supply blocking Spire here. The Scourge coming in. Oh my god, that's a very nice set of... that's a very nice engagement there. 2 of the Muteless very heavily damaged, but it's 11 versus 12 still. Zero waiting for some more Scourge to come in, but this is the timing he has. He has to make something happen now. He's going to try and go in. He moves or loses a couple of Muters. He has to fight straight up. It's 8 versus 8. Another couple of Muteless coming in, but it's 7 versus 8. 6 versus 6. Looks like Spire has a little bit of a better engagement here. 6, 5 versus 2. And that's it. I think Zero's lost the game here. A good try. A very well played TvZ by Zero, but Spire winning the engagement in the end. I think Zero definitely being a little bit hesitant in taking that final engagement, and that cost him a little bit extra damage. And because of that, he lost the final engagement. A little bit unfortunate, but that is TvZ for you. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 4. It's going to be kogeT versus Hero.
Baron Aloha, a black shadow threatening the safety of peaceful...
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into game number 4. It's kogeT versus Hero. kogeT playing for the final point here because of course SouL have beaten NetWars 3-0. But kogeT has a chance here. He's number 4 ranked in the STPL overall. He's actually dropped a rank here, so I think Dewalt may have just overtaken him with the win with Zealot. But basically we'll see Dewalt a little bit later anyway. But let's have a look. kogeT, very, very good player. His TvT record is ridiculous. So if there's one matchup he can beat Hero in, it's going to be this one. Let me see what his win streak is against Tarson. The top TvT win streak is kogeT with 14-0. 14-0 in TvT is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. What a crazy guy. What a good TvTer. Let's have a look at his opponent. This is probably the strongest Tarson that kogeT's going to have faced so far. He's only played one TvT. It's been a win. He's won all 9 of his games so far. We made Fox Pro Gamer, aka Sexy, if you don't know who he is. He's joined the ranks of the other Korean heroes just to confuse everyone. But let's have a look at the map we're going to be going into. It is going to be Paradise. This is the first TvT we've had here. Only the 3rd Tarson players, or the 3rd and 4th Tarson players on Paradise. Paradise should be really fun in TvT. If it goes late, we're going to have a very long game, which I'm incredibly excited for. But kogeT's TvTs are often quite quick, so let's see how it's going to go. It's kogeT versus Hero, game number 4, and it's on Paradise. We finally have the Tarson music. I'm in heaven. And starting us off here in the top left-hand position, fighting for kogeT, it's the Polish powerhouse himself. Fighting for NetWars, it's the Polish powerhouse himself, it's kogeT. And his opponent in the sexy orange, fighting for SouL from South Korea, it's Hero. Custom Use saying 1 hour match. I'm really hoping we get a 1 hour game here because the 1 hour TvT is literally my favorite thing in the entire world. Here, this Hejek, this is a different Zero. There's like 5 different heroes in Korea. There's Hero Join, there's By Hero. Hero Join is Protoss, By Hero is Zerg. This is SouL Hero, who's Tarson. There's also another hero who goes, who plays StarCraft 2, which is the Team Liquid hero. He also plays Protoss as Hero in Brood War. It's so confusing. Custom Use, just while we get into this game, please can you talk to the other Koreans and let them know that I know IDs for them guys isn't as important, but for foreign players, like IDs is all we know them as, and if they all use the same ID it makes it so confusing. Because when like ASL and stuff is being casted, I realized that it'd be like Yonho Lee Son or Yonho Yi Son Su or whatever. But like we don't know them by that, and Artosis and Tasteless call them by their IDs, and it just confuses people. Like, why did Zero change from Zero to Queen? Like, what the hell? Zero is such a good ID. I think it was like he said it was like he wanted a new style or something. Ah, okay. Sexy. Well, Hero is actually called Hero because that's what his Korean name means. Okay, I'll accept that. I'll accept that. That's good. That's good. But Sexy is a really good name. Okay, so kogeT going for... Is he going for a proxy barrier? Is he going for a 14cc? kogeT's going for a 14cc here. That is incredibly risky, but it's TvT. If there's one matchup you can get away with 14cc in, it's this, because unless you get BBS'd in the middle of the map, or 8 racks in the middle of the map, you can hold this with just SCVs. kogeT harassing the SCV on the barracks. Hero getting a little bit lucky, as that is going to come in here. The SCV is going to hide on top of the barracks. Now Depot coming in. This is going to allow him to obviously keep building everything else. No factory just yet. He needs a little bit more gas. But of course, the same harassment that he faced earlier, he is going to have to defend against, because there is absolutely no barracks here. There is no way of defending against this, so he is going to have to keep this SCV alive. Is he going to repair the SCV, or is Hero going to get a free kill? Obviously, this is the downside of going for 14cc. You have to have essentially You have to have essentially perfect micro. Customies in chat saying this is a very risky opening in TvT. I don't really think it is. Especially if your opponent's going for a normal build. You can defend against everything if you have SCVs. The only thing that can kill you is a vulture, but by the time they get a vulture, you should have a bunker. So obviously the factory coming up here is actually building at the front. SCVs have been pulled. He's going to have to micro this perfectly. He has to delay for as long as it takes to get a bunker up, which he's going to start building now, and also get his first marine. He needs to be fighting with all of his SCVs as well. Like, he can't just use one. Looks like 3 of them getting a little bit stuck here. I didn't even know you could stand up here. I wonder if you can build a turret there. But here we go. Looks like he is going to push forward. He is going to be able to get his bunker up. The marine is going to fight the marine. Nope, maybe not. But with the bunker done, the first vulture isn't going to do anything, and all of a sudden, kogeT is in an incredible position. This is the good thing about 14cc and TvT. Now look at this, we've got a proxy starport coming in from Hero in the middle of the map outside of his opponent's main. He is going to be going for wraiths here most likely, could go for a drop. Drop can be very good here as well, but bunker coming up. kogeT is in a position to see this. He cannot go and engage the bunker because of course the vulture is going to be here, so we're going to see tanks coming out. Look at that timing, tank and siege mode coming in here as well. And that is incredibly, incredibly powerful, because if you get yourself contained in TvT, that is a problem. Factory coming in here, there is no way of him getting out to scout the starport now, which is a bit of a pain. The starport, of course, going to be one of the most important moves in the game. We've got 4 marines, so they should be able to go and deal with anything like that. We've got a bunker coming up behind this, so kogeT knows there is going to be a tank coming in here. But he doesn't know about the wraith. He has no way of checking that. And an engineering bay coming in here as well. So he's going to be going for turrets to go for a hard contain. We've got a starport from kogeT as well. A second starport coming in from kogeT. So this engineering bay is going to be incredibly important. Obviously, engineering bay isn't just for turrets. It's used to give vision for the tanks when the wraith cannot. So against the bunker, essentially. But here comes the wraith. The wraith going to scout one of the starports. kogeT going to see the wraith. Is he going to pull back all of his marines? Looks like he's going to pull back a couple. Going to leave one of his marines in the... Well, he's going to leave one marine in the bunker, which is a very, very important move, because if the... Oh my god, he's going triple bunker. kogeT is doing the best he possibly can to defend against this. The marines have chased away the first wraith. Second wraith will be coming in. But looks like the marine's going to get back into the back bunker. Not too worried about anything. The barracks moving forward to soak up some of the hits. Give vision for those tanks. Oh, that's really clever. He's going to wall off his tank with the barracks, because the bunker is just going to shoot the buildings. Now the first tank is out here for kogeT. The first tank from Hero is still not winning. Of course, the important thing to remember, guys, is Hero doesn't have an expansion. This is all in. kogeT up 5 SCVs. All is still to play for here, but kogeT has to be careful. The barracks is going to build marines to help this push out. 2 tanks going to be better than 1, but there's going to be 2 wraiths coming out here. But look at this, 2 wraiths in the main base, going to be taking down some of these SCVs. Another wraith is not being made, so this wraith is going to come out and most likely die. Oh, he's going to get it out, he's going to get it away, and he's going to get back to where everything else is. But kogeT in a lot of trouble now. He's not got siege mode just yet. Did he forget? Did he not? Oh, he did get siege mode. Okay, so it's not the end of the game just yet. It's still going. Nice tank shot on those marines, doing a little bit of splash damage on those tanks. But this is definitely looking a little bit problematic here for kogeT. He doesn't have any SCVs. He has to probably pull them away from his main. But he is going for cloak. His other wraith, did he lose his first wraith? Yeah, I think he lost his first wraith, unfortunately. It's not looking good for kogeT, but kogeT is still in a position where he can win the game from here. He has to defend against the wraith, so the wraith has to survive, and he has to repair his tanks. If the tanks go down, the game is over. There is no game. Oh my god, he's going to use the... Oh, I thought he was going to use the engineering bay. Oh, he loses the wraith. I think this is going to be it. He cannot defend against the tanks. He cannot defend against the wraiths. The tanks coming in. He's A moving in because he knows that's how he kills them. And kogeT is going to lose his 14-game winning streak. He was in such a good position. But unfortunately, the choice to go for wraiths and not Goliaths lost him the game. But very well played by Hero. Very upsetting for kogeT to lose that, but still a very well played game. And that's it. Looks like Hero stayed in the game. That gives me long enough to add the win for Hero, to add the win for SouL, and then head on over to the results screen. So let's head on over there. Let's round up the results. We had an incredibly good first series today, and the second series should be even better. So it was a 4-0 Shine taking down Tarson in a really, really cool 20-minute TvZ. Scan taking down Yeti in a pretty cool TvP, but unfortunately Yeti getting a little bit caught off guard in the end. We had Spire taking down Zero in a really close TvZ. That was on a knife edge. And then we had a TBT between Hero and kogeT, which we just saw, obviously. A very close game. kogeT came very close to winning it, but the choice of going to Starport, not going for like an engineering bay or anything, and not going for any Goliaths, cost him there. So a little bit unfortunate, but that's it. That's how it goes in Brood War sometimes. SouL take another 4-0 victory. And when we get back after this break, we'll be heading into series number 2. It's going to be iRk versus Wico, and you won't want to miss it. It's going to be brilliant. So see you guys soon.
TvP.
Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL Visual Studio once again. Well, Visual Studio, I don't know what you'd call this. It's like a VR studio thing. I have no idea. I'm currently sat in my headset. Everything is good. We had an amazing first series. We should have an even better second series, which is why I saved it till last. We've got iRk, the best team outside of Korea, against Clan Wico. Wico have shown in the STPL they're strong. They've shown they can be powerful, but they have more importantly shown they are incredibly aggressive. So we could have a lot of very quick games here, but this is iRk. iRk games usually trend to be a little bit longer. So are we going to have a 6 series? I don't know, but when you look at the matchups we've got coming up, you will understand why I'm excited, and hopefully you guys will be excited as well. So let's head on over, let's introduce the matchups, and then we can get going. So here we go. Okay, my chair makes so many squeaking noises. I'm currently sat in my old chair still, but either way. Okay, this is a matchup between iRk and Wico. We've got vOddy versus mutL, another TvZ on Rosen Bridge. Then we have a PvP between G5 and Hiya, who's not the same Hiya who's played in the STPL before, the pro player. He is a Korean amateur. We've got Dewalt versus Swan in a PvZ. And then we've got Kame versus Bypass in a ZVP. So we've got a lot of really, really good games coming up. It's going to be a great series. If you know people who like watching Brood War Team Leagues and they're not watching right now, I would go and grab them to show them this series, because this should be a good one. Let's introduce our first couple of players. Starting us off here, we're going to have vOddy. I finally updated the photo, by the way, so it's not showing Season 3 anymore. It's actually proper. But oh yeah, had to sub out this week because unfortunately he had work on Sunday, so... And NetWars were just before, so NetWars already played. But vOddy, a really strong Terran player from Sweden. He's played a lot of TvT recently and not much else. In TvT, he seems to struggle in, but against Zerg, he's pretty damn good. So looking forward to seeing how he is going to do. He even beat Chaelin on Core Breach. Chaelin, one of the Korean Zerg players who's now on SouL. Let's have a look at vOddy's opponent. This is going to be their first game. It's mutL for Wico. So mutL, pretty cool name. I'm probably going to say this wrong a million times. But let's have a look at the map they're going to be going on to. It is one of the weirder maps. It is Rosen Bridge. We've had some incredible games on here so far. I think this is probably going to be another good one. I don't know, but TvZ on this map has shown to be pretty cool so far. Shine versus Tarson was decided by a drop that Tarson didn't defend properly. But outside of that, Tarson was in a very strong position. The positions are slightly different, but let's see how it's going to affect the game as we get into it. It's game number 1. iRk versus Wico. It's vOddy versus mutL.
crowned rabbit stole our hearts. 3
Okay.
ha reindeer.
Thank you, Dan Alex. Starting us off down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the silver, fighting for Wico on the mainland here. It's going to be vOddy. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, fighting as our Terran player from Sweden for iRk. It's vOddy. Also, I just want to say a big thank you to SkyCycle for essentially keeping Liquipedia up to date while we're casting, or while I'm casting. That is incredibly... I have forgotten how to speak English entirely. I was going to say that's an incredibly thankful thing. But it's a thing I'm really thankful for, because I am bad with Liquipedia. More people should use Liquipedia as well. Liquipedia is an incredible resource. They did sponsor us in Season 2 and 3, but due to all the TSLs and stuff going on, they couldn't continue the sponsorship for Season 4, but we'll have to bug them again when Season 4 is over, about Season 5. Big shout out, of course, to our wonderful sponsors eSport Fund, who have donated $1,000 to the prize pool. If you want to donate money completely free, courtesy of our other sponsor, hit that Matcherino link that I've just thrown up in chat, hit the code STPLS4 into the menu, and you can add 50 cents directly to the prize pool. ProPlay, you're Casper, right? Or is he someone else? I recognize your name from somewhere. But it's not the Terran Pro Gamer, it is a Protoss player called Hiya. But vOddy spawning on the island, going for a 14cc here. Very, very strong build on the island. Oh, Casper is Grime Boss, that's right. Is Marwyn? Are you Marwyn? Like, I remember the name ProPlay from the Clash for Char days. Someone used to play under that ID, and I can't remember who it was. And who was the... It was a Russian Terran. A Russian Terran who used to have a name beginning with G. I can't remember who it was. Oh, okay, well, I'm completely wrong. ProPlay, you're ProPlay now. If you are another player, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. I've lost all sense of what's going on. Gargoyle is who I'm thinking of. Gargoyle was the Russian Terran with the G name. Maybe he was ProPlay. Maybe there's two people. No, Grime Boss is Casper. I know Casper. Casper is Grime Boss because he does like the grime music, and obviously, Grime Boss is like one of the genres of music that England, especially like the North London scene, really kind of made into its own. Oh, Gargoyle is Owlplay. That's where I'm getting confused with. Man, I'm so glad that you're in chat and you know way more than I do. You should come up and cast. I should let you cast. You know who everyone is. I have no idea. Oh well, that's just how things go. We got 2-hatch layer coming in from vOddy. He's going to be going for 2-hatch mutas, much like we saw Spire do before. The important thing is, he doesn't know where his opponent is. He didn't scout his opponent with a drone. Oh, yes he did. Sorry, yes he did. I didn't realize that. I didn't notice that before. But looks like he is going to be going for a 3rd hatchery here. So 3rd hatchery on the gas. Now, unlike when you're on the island of Zerg, this is a lot more open. It's a lot harder to defend. Now, the way we saw... sorry, vOddy's playing now. The way we saw our Terran player in the last series, Tarson, play this, we saw him go for 3-port Wraith. Now, that isn't what vOddy's going to do. vOddy is going to play this straight up for the time being. 2 racks, 2 medics at a time, and that is going to make him available to defend against the mutas a little bit easier than the 3-port Wraith did. The 3-port Wraith was a really cool idea, but he didn't actually do any damage with it. He couldn't find any openings because it was scouted very early by Shine, and Shine just built spores everywhere. Now, Doc Holidays come up in chat. Usually I would cuss him out, but he said some really nice things about me on the Pylon show, so I kind of feel like I owe him something. Doc Holiday called me one of his best friends in the StarCraft scene, so I'm gonna say, like, I can't really say bad things about him anymore, because I must admit that's probably the same for me as well. I'm gonna give Doc a shout out as well, because when I was lucky enough to get invited to BlizzCon and go, one of the standout memories I have is the day that I hang around with Doc Holiday all day. Doc Holiday is a really good name though. I think you've had that as a parody name at some point. Now we do have the first Muteless coming out here. Very, very nicely done. I still haven't finished watching the Pylon show yet. Apparently STPL gets brought up again after I heard the first bit, which would be a nice change because no one ever talks about STPL but me. But there we go. Looks like the turret's in a very good place. The Marine Medic in a very good place as well. It's going to allow him to defend against the Muteless. He is building a lot of turrets, but he got a very fast expansion, and he's not really building too much else other than bio, so he's not going to have to worry. Double starport coming in. This is going to be for dropships, and that is when things are going to start to really spiral out of control. And yeah, I really hope I get to go back to America at one point and like hang around with you guys again, because that was really fun. I don't think BlizzCon is ever going to invite Brood War people again. But hanging around with you and Seraph 6 was really, really awesome. That was definitely my best day of BlizzCon. By far. Jeff asking in chat, am I really a giant in real life? I'm not actually a giant, I'm just 6'5". Now, to some people that is a giant, I must admit. Now, it looks like the Mutas coming in from another angle. They are going to be able to get in on top of the SCVs, but they're going to find themselves a little bit trapped. Looks like vOddy's units a little bit out of position, so losing a lot of SCVs here. Definitely not what you want to have happen, but it's not the end of the world. The Mutas should be able to fly out of this without too much trouble. They're really abusing the fact they're behind the minimap here, so we can't see them. But looks like the Mutas have done a decent chunk of damage. Mutali is going to be ahead in workers now. One of the starports is being moved because he realized how awkward it is to move his units away. And this is not looking good for vOddy so far, but he's on an island, so unless Mutali goes mass all in with Mutelisks, he's not going to be able to kill him. 6'5" is 195 centimeters. I usually say centimeters recently, but I know that there's Americans in chat. I would not kick Doc's ass. I have seen Doc, he is hench as hell. I'm not touching that. I'm gonna get laid out. If I go after Doc, he is gonna lay me out and it's not gonna be fun. I may be 6'5", but I'm a twig. I have no power behind anything I do. That's what I get from being like a nerd for 30 years, essentially since I was a baby. Okay, the Muteless coming back in here, trying to find some damage, but we do have Marines in a bit of a better position now. We are seeing Mass Vessel to begin with. This helps him deal with the initial Muteless, so very, very important. Upgrades-wise, we've got +1 against +1 Carapace, very, very standard for this stage in TvZ. Now, we already have the Nidus Canal coming up here on the island, and this is when things will start to get out of control for vOddy, because vOddy has to find his way onto the mainland, and right now, that is not something he can do. Now, if he can get onto the island, there's going to be very little to defend against this. So going for the... Oh, looks like the Muta's coming into the main base again, going after some more SCVs. It's 42 SCVs, 41, 40. The Marine's in a good spot again. Now, finally, he has some ability to go around the map, and he's actually going for... He's going for battle cruisers already. Nice! Irradiates. Oh my goodness. So much damage being done to these Mutalists there. And the battle cruisers are going to be a very big component, a very interesting way to play this map as well. We've not seen anybody do this so far. This is the first time we've seen this. And this is battle cruisers on 2 base. Now with all of those Mutalists dying, we're going to see a lot of spore colonies being forced out here by Mutali if he wants to hold on to his base. But guess what? The BCs can sit here. Now, one of the creep colonies was cancelled. He's not building full spores just yet. The battle cruisers, only 2 of them. This is a very, very clever play. You go for the BCs, it forces a lot of Scourge. They eat a lot of Scourge and they force a lot of things that shoot up, but not much that shoots down. So we're going to see him kill this hive. It takes forever for Zerg to kill a hive as well, because they do have a ton of health. We've got no expansions up here in the top right, but of course if the BCs can get up here, which will take a very long time, they'll be able to deal with this quite handily. And the BCs, more importantly, open a path for the dropships to come in, because once again, all the dropships have to do is take the units from here and drop them off here. And then all of a sudden Mutali has very little defense. He's got a second Nidus coming in. He's probably going to Nidus to the top of the map. Maybe he's going to Nidus down here. And by Nidusing to the top of the map, he's going to be... Oh my goodness, is he going to... He's going to Nidus in his opponent's base. Okay, the Marine scouts the Overlord. This is very, very important. The first dropship has come in. There's very little on the ground to defend against this. A lot of Devourers coming in, but Devourers aren't going to help whatsoever against the BCs. They do have a lot of armor. The Marines are not super heavily upgraded, but as soon as the Spore colonies go down, there's going to be very little that once again shoots down. Oh my god, Devourers do so much damage. They do so much damage. 7 acid spores already. Let's zoom out a little bit. I'm moving the camera a little bit too much. Lurker's coming in. Nice scan, but does he get the split? No, he doesn't. But is it enough to kill the Lurkers? He gets another one. The Devourers coming in. They immediately spore all of these units, but they take so long to fire that the Marines actually get out. The Guardians are going to be in trouble here, but he is going to be fighting up against upper ramp against Lurkers. Don't want to engage there. Go in from the other side. And now we have a vessel coming in here. Does get an irradiate on one of the Guardians. It kills the other one with the splash. And now we have another load of units pushing away any possible overlords from building a Nidus in his base. And that is incredibly important. Casters asks, why kill the hive? This is why. It opens up more space to build things. It's a neutral building, essentially. There's 4 of them on the map. They are blue, and they don't appear on the minimap at the moment. But here we go. We've got a large amount of units heading in. Nice irradiates going down. The Nidus Canal is going to go down. And when the Niduses go down, guess what? He isn't defending his bases in the top right. There is no way he's doing that. Now the battlecruiser in a position, it is going to get one of the Guardians. There's still not much on the ground here. 2 more Guardians coming in, but already the Marines actually going to run past this, go for some of those units. The vessel's going to be taking a lot of damage, but kill the Guardians. If you kill the Guardians, there's nothing that can kill you. But look at how many Devourers and Guardians there are. But these Marines in a good position. We've got another... I was going to say a contingent of bio coming in, but it is just going to be 3 medics over there, 4 medics over there. Looks like all of the units going to go down here. The BC goes down, but there's a lot of Devourers that can't really do anything. The vessels are going to move up and they're going to scout the base. He's going to see the Nidus has gone down, and he should know that his opponent's going to be expanding up here. Now 4 Marines going to stop the base in the top left from going up, and vOddy is still in a good position. One of the upgrades looking like for Alteran. Only 1-1. Falling behind a bit on the upgrades. A little bit unfortunate there. But that is how it goes. He's going to go for... I believe this is going to be 2-2, but I don't know where his other engineering bay is, so maybe he's actually going for armor first. Ah, it's here, sorry. Yeah, 2-2 coming in. Okay, we've got a D-Matrix on the dropship. This is going to save it against Scourge. It's going to save it against Vessels. And it's more importantly going to save it against the Devourers as well. It's not going to stop the Acid Spores. I really think he should go for Restoration. If you restore this, look how much damage they do. The Devourers are just destroying all of this. Now, a dropship is going for the top right. I think the Defense Matrix is going to run out before this finishes. But if he drops into the main, kills the Nidus, that's a dead base. But it looks like we've got the Guardians going for this. The Acid Spore's going to kill the vessel eventually. Looks like one Irradiate going down on the Guardians. He's going to kill it. Not even gonna wait for it to die. He's just like, no, I have no use for you in my army. You plagued monster. And here we go. The Nidus has been taken down. The Marines are in a position to block the gas, which is the important part of this base for Zerg. The drones are going to be doing nothing down here, and they should be able to take down this Sunken as well. The Devourer's moving into a position to attack the bases of vOddy with the Guardians. There's still a couple of BCs here. If the Marines can deal with the Devourers, the Guardians should be dealt with. But base going down up here. Another Nidus coming in. He really should run in and snipe this. He could kill the Sunken. Like, he should just go and kill the Sunken, but it's tough. One of the Guardians goes down to just the Marines. The Guardians definitely hurting here. Another one. Oh, 2 health away from dying. But he should be able to go and clear this up with just the Marines now. He doesn't even need to send the BCs. 2 of the BCs moving over. We have Ultralisk coming in. The Nidus is sniped. Another Nidus coming in. If he kills it, he knows it's there. Come and kill it. You can't let the Ultras get over there. But looks like 2 more of the Guardians going to go down. The Devourers still not doing too much. Scourge coming out here now to try and deal with this. But Battlecruiser's in a pretty good spot to try and deal with some of the units. Devourer's coming back. If he has Yamato, he might be able to do something good with this. But looks like the Nidus does finish. Lings come out the hatchery and do clean up that Marine. But the game is far from over. He does need dropships, and he needs a lot of them to head over. Looks like he is going to go over without them being full. Oh no, don't fly into the Scourge. No! Don't fly into the Scourge! No! One of the dropships goes down. If he'd have just had those units there, there's no medics here now. The BCs both get taken down by the Devourers. Definitely the MVPs of this game so far. But this is a really, really cool game. We've got Mutali on 83 drones. That's over half of his supply in drones right now. There's been countless Nidus has been taken down. And looks like the Marines get in a position to kill the drone trying to expand up to the top left. vOddy is stuck on 4 bases for now, but of course Terran, when they're going bio, can last forever on 3 gases. So I think that's not going to be too much of a problem. It does badly need some medics over here, but of course Mutali doesn't have that many ground units still. His gas has been going into Devourer and Guardian, +4 Carapace really helping out against these Marines, and vOddy is definitely suffering on the medic count. He needs more medics. But if he can get in, if he can snipe these Devourers, he is still in a good spot. We've got another dropship going up here to the top right. There's not actually that much back to defend. 4 Ultras going to be coming in here. 2 Ultras coming in as well. The Irradiate's going to hurt the Marines more. They're going to hurt the Ultras here, but that's just how it goes. Another Irradiate being... I think he put that on the same unit, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he's going to fall back to some more units. Mutali definitely playing this really well. A lot of people have been saying that Zerg would struggle the most in this map, but genuinely I think Zerg are the strongest. I have not seen a game where Zerg has struggled this so far on this map. Okay, so vOddy is going to need to target down this Nidus immediately. He has to go now. He has to go now. If Ultras get through here, no, it's over. This isn't going to do anything now. He does get one of the Ultras, but he is not going to... Well, one of the Lurkers, but he's not going to be able to kill the Ultra. He has to kill the Nidus. This Ultra doesn't matter. He's not going to kill it. And there we go. GG. vOddy taps out. He played well, but Mutali played a little bit better, taking a late game on Rosen Bridge. And that's going to give Wico the 1-0 lead in the series. We'll be back with game number 2 when we get back just after this short break. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going into game number 2 of iRk versus Wico. We had a pretty explosive game number 1 on Rosen Bridge, once again giving us a really good game on that map. This time we're going to have a PvP. It's hiya versus G5. That's right, G5 Media is back in the STPL for the first time in a very long time. He played all the way back in Season 1. As a matter of fact, let me just see if we still have his stats. We do. He played 3 games in Season 1. In 2018, he played in the STPL, and he is back again. And he is going to be going for blood. His opponent, hiya, hasn't played too many games either. But let's have a quick look at him as well. He's only played 1 so far. It was a PvZ, and he won. But this is a PvP. It's on Desert Dwellers. Let's get started. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we have the red Protoss player for iRk, formerly Media, now iRk, it's G5. And up here in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player fighting for Wico, it's hiya. It's not the real hiya, it's a different hiya, but we have had the real hiya play in the STPL before, but he is on White Clan. White Clan did drop out the STPL because the games were too late, and they essentially couldn't manage it anymore. That is one thing that really amazes me about Wico and SouL, especially SouL, because they're played since the very beginning. Essentially, SouL Koreans play their game at midnight. Like, SouL Koreans have jobs as well, you know? Like, I'm fairly certain most of them have jobs. There are a few that live off of streaming, like Shine. Yeah, but hiya is also known as Wico Melon. I might change his name to Melon and just refer to him as Melon. I hope he, like, maybe I'll check with JYR if I can do that, because it is confusing. Maybe JYR can tell me if that's okay to do or not. In Korea, does he go by hiya or does he go by Melon? Okay, we've got 2 gateways coming in for hiya here. We've got 2 gateways coming in from G5, so perfectly mirror builds in a perfectly mirror matchup. Okay, we've got the second pylon coming in. Very standard play. I mean, the 2 gate is like standard in no matchups bar PvP. Like, PvP is the one matchup where it's like, you know what, this is a legitimate macro opening. Yeah, 2 gate versus 2 gate, the games can either be very quick or they can last forever. Because 2 gate versus 2 gate is kind of never sure how they're actually going to go. Because if one player just out-micros the other player, the game essentially just ends. Now, both players are still scouting around with a probe. Looks like G5 going to send his first zealot over the map. So he's going to play more aggressively. And G5 is doing a really good job keeping his probe alive, by the way. This is not easy. Basically, even though when you look at the whole situation and you see the fact there is a probe and a zealot, which is like... I mean, the zealot is essentially A-clicked on the probe. It's not going to be doing any micro. But it's so hard to keep the probe alive. Now, the single zealot coming in from G5 is going to find 3 zealots from his opponent because he gets there so slow. The other 2 zealots going to run over. Looks like he is going to try and keep these alive, and he's doing a very good job of doing both. But good to see Diggity in the chat as well. Diggity, obviously one of the older... when I say older, like, I don't mean age-wise, but one of the longer-term StarCraft casters who's kind of got back into things a bit recently. It's been really good to have him back. Now, a probe does get taken down. That is G5's. He does lose his first zealot as well. And now he's going to send his 4 zealots back. So I think G5 is going to have to play defensively now. He's always going to be a zealot down. So there we go. It's funny when you get into these situations because you have both players going for mass zealots, and you can't really stop building them. Now we've got a Citadel coming in from high already, so he's going to go for DTs. G5 hasn't made his tech decision yet, because Hire has still got his probe alive in his main, so there we go. Looks like G5 is actually going to push out with his zealots. I'm not sure I really agree with this, but it will at least give him a chance to scout the High Templar, or the Dark Templar when they come in. The probe is getting ready to build the Templar archives here, so there we go. I really think G5 needs to go into his tech now. It doesn't matter if the probe's in his base, he has to build some form of tech. If he doesn't build tech, he's going to die to the DTs, so... Looks like the... okay, it looks like G5 may have made the right choice here. High are actually going out of Zealots now, so the Dragoons going to be in a position where they can actually get taken down here. Looks like nice micro though by Hiya so far. What is the tech going to be? Please tell me G5 is not going to expand. G5 is going to expand, I think. That would be such a risky play. Now, Azella gets into the main. G5 sees the Templar Archives. Now, how does he beat this? He goes for Robo. He's going to try and rush out an Observatory. And he needs a Forge. Honestly, at this point, you need a Forge. You cannot hold the DTs without any detection. A cannon, a Forge, while you wait for your Observer, or you are going to lose the game. That is PvP. It's rough. You can sacrifice probes and as many units as you want at the front of your base. But the second those two DTs come into your base, which they're about to, as these two KP boys head across the map here. Let's have a zoom in on them. They have a really weird walking animation, by the way. Like, why do they walk like this? Like, oh, I've just got this weird like song in my head playing. Like, I can't think to the right. They're like some weird circus music while they're walking. I don't know. Yeah, but the two... Oh my god, he's building a Nexus as well. G5. Observatory coming in, but he doesn't... He can't defend the DT. He can't see the DTs just yet. Maybe this will delay the DTs getting into his main, but I don't think it will do. The first unit's going down at the front. Okay, so the other units are going to get delayed. The two DTs coming into the main. The first Observer is on the way. He has to save this. The Nexus not too important to save, but he has to save his army. He has to save his probes. Now, if he right-clicks on the Robo facility, he can actually kill it before the Observer comes out. But looks like he is going to try and engage this. The probes trying to glitch out the DT. The first Observer coming out. The first DT is going to go down. Nicely done. The second DT killing a lot of probes though. Higher, almost double his opponent's workers. The Nexus at the front is going to be the saving grace here, but Higher's already got his Nexus up. Dealing with the Invisible Man is very difficult when the Invisible Man is not wearing any glasses so you can see them. But G5 is definitely far behind, but he does have a big army. He's got a big army and he's got an Observer, so he could push. But look at Hiya, he's going into High Templar, he's going into Storm, going into a second gas, and he is building 5 cannons. Now if G5 sniffs this out and goes back home and macros up, he has a chance to come back in. Oh, but look at this, another Zealot coming in from behind. Is there going to be units back here to defend? There is 3 gateways. He does have the chance of going for Reavers. But he is not going to be able to bring these cannons. I mean, he could try, but I don't think it's going to work. DT gets taken out by the last hit from that Dragoon. Nicely done. The game is not over until it's over. I've said this 1,000 times before after seeing 100 comebacks. You can never tell when a Brood War game is over. The only time it's over is when the other player types GG. Or they leave in a rage, but... I mean, for some, the leaving in a rage happens more often than not. Now, Hooty Hoo telling me that 38 probes against 18 means macroing up is not the way to play. But he has just built like 8 cannons. This is a lot of money that's not going into gateways, it's not going into army. So if G5 just continues to make a bigger and bigger army, he could win the game. Now, if he has a single shuttle coming in, He can go for a drop. He can elevate it into the main. And what are 4 High Templar going to do? Are they going to, like, walk up to his main base and defend it? He's got incredibly good map control. He can go for a quick third. He's ahead in supply. He's now only 22 probes down compared to the 30 something he was before. The probe building is a little bit off here for G5, but G5 is a self-proclaimed not a pro, so not too surprising. Hiya cannot expand anytime soon. It looks like G5 going to clear out this area because he's going for a third base. And there we go. Now, Lolek Brett Bolker says in chat, Probes, Tech, High Templar, how can it not be over? Because Hiya can't leave his base. Hiya cannot leave his base. What is he supposed to do if he can't leave his base? He's not going to be able to get a third base. Doc saying he was streaming this, G5 was streaming this in Discord. Doc's got the spoilers, but here we go, Reaver coming in. Reaver going to go behind the natural here, and there is a gap for the... this is the great equalizer. Let's see if it's going to work out. First Reaver coming in, great pullback from Hiya. But looks like he is going to get the... oh, nice. 3 probes already. Gonna fall back. And yeah, G5's army is still incredibly big. And look at this. 150 minerals that Hiya has to give up. And look at the spread against the storms. G5, man, what a good move. The Reaver going to help out against the Zealots. More units getting caught off by the storm, killing his own observer. But look at this. Hiya's army, it's melting. He's going to have to fall back to his cannons. He loses another High Templar. There's still a Reaver here. The Reaver can outrange the cannons. And that's it. That's perfect for G5. This is the moves he needs to make, but the Reaver not in a position to help with this engagement. He has to have the Reaver Scarabs or this is not going to work. Looks like he gets one there, but is he going to get another one? The Reaver going to be under fire, picks up. Hot pick up there on that Reaver, keeping it alive. The shuttle moving a little bit too far forward. Was there a drop or something? Yes, there was a High Templar drop in the main, only getting 1 probe, at least on that one. Now, G5 does lose most of his army here. He's got a lot of army back at home, but he still has... I thought that was going to be the shuttle, but it's an observer. He never actually built the third base. Now, I think the storm drop did some damage, but I'm not sure how much it actually did. We'll rewind the replay to see if he did anything with it. But maybe someone can see in chat. And Lolek, it's because games in Brood War are not over, and if you lose an engagement and it's right next to your base, how do you defend if your opponent has a huge army and you don't? Probes aren't gonna win that. Like the economy in Brood War is interesting because you don't need okay, so you need an economy, but if you max out or you come close to max or you have a big army, even if you have no workers, you can still win the game. Like, you can have 70 workers when you're maxed out against 130 supply army of your opponent and 20 workers or something. And the 130 supply army will win. As long as they engage properly. Now, we do have a probe coming down to the bottom right. He could sneak a base down here. Now there are still DTs moving around, being sneaky, as they always are. We've got an observer scouting for this though, so the Dragoons will be able to kill this DT. That's another little win here for G5. He is down in supply now though, but he's only down 9 workers, and this is when it becomes a problem for G5, because Hiya got a good engagement, and that's what he needed. Now, one important thing to note about this map is how easy it is to defend your 2 bases. Now, hiya, of course, has a 3rd base now, and this means he is incredibly far ahead. We're going to need G5 to come back and do something, because he is on a timer. Okay, we've got a Reaver. For some reason, I thought that was a blue Reaver, and I was like, how the hell did that get past all the Dragoons? But Reavers, very, very good units. Storm's not going to be as good in these positions. BT killing a pylon. Observer still running around, checking out where the army is. Observer going down now though, so it's a little bit of a pain. G5 going to expand to the mineral only. He is going to have to expand. He's 50 supply behind now though. And that is when things start to go out of control. When he had the bigger army, if he'd have won that engagement convincingly, he would still be in with a chance. But he is slowly falling further behind here. But iRk are down. Even if they lose this game, they're definitely not out. They have 2 incredibly strong players coming up. We've got Dewalt and True Touch. Is it Dewalt? True Touch? It's Dewalt and Kame, sorry, Dewalt and Kame. I think True Touch had to sub out this week as well. Maybe, no, True Touch may not have gone for this week. Looks like the Pylon show debate about random is going on in chat at the moment because Doc Holiday's here. With random, they should make it like in fighting games, where essentially you pick random and it gives you a random race, but on the loading screen it shows your opponent what the race is. There's no reason to need to hide the race, at all. It's fine as it is, but I would say it would be better if it worked like in fighting games. I agree with Doc. And it's not often I've said that, so that's new. While we've just got the armies kind of moving back and forth, I mean, G5 is just kind of turtling up to max. Hiya is just getting further ahead. The important thing to remember is essentially that random doesn't need to give you an inherent advantage. There's no reason to have that. No reason to have that at all. Like, you can just have it so it works like random in fighting games, where if you don't want to pick a race and you want to play all 3, you can do. But it just gives you a random one and shows your opponent what it is. What's the problem? Just because you've chosen to play 3 races doesn't mean we need, like, everyone else has to deal with it. But there we go. Looks like we've got push in coming in. There's a lot of units, a lot of Reavers at the top of the ramp, a lot of Archons for both sides. But Storm's on the low ground doing a lot of damage here. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Keep an eye on all of the engagement. We've got a lot of Archons trying to push up the ramp, a lot of Archons pushing down. But looks like the Reavers at the top definitely helping him defend against this. Looks like he is trying to focus down that Archon because that's going to do a lot of damage. Once again, G5's Reavers aren't in the engagement. G5's Reavers in both engagements so far have not been involved, and that has lost him the engagements both times. But he does have the Reavers back into a position now. It's going to be hard for our Protoss player to push up here, but he does get a Storm on top of the Reavers. Makes it a lot more difficult to deal with this. 5 bases now for hiya. Obviously G5 is on 3. If we turn the supply on, supplies are dead even. The engagement didn't go as bad as I thought it did. But we definitely do need those Reavers to do more. We need Bonus, we need G5's Reavers to do a lot more than they are. Someone said Bonus Reavers in chat, and I just read it and replaced what I was gonna say. But looks like G5 gonna go out on the aggression here, and he needs to defend his base. This ain't gonna work. He needs to pull back, but is he gonna go for an all-in? I think he's gonna go for an all-in. But remember, there's cannons. The Reaver's not in a position to defend against this, but the pylon's very, very strong. Now, there are Reavers up here. If he can kill the main base, he's won the game. But he's pushing into cannons. He should have gone for the expansions. But obviously Reaver's good against cannons, but there are units coming back to defend against this. It's a big army on the way back. Zealot's not in a position to defend the Reavers. The shuttle goes down. The Reavers are going to go down as well. And unfortunately, G5's Reavers not attacking the right thing again. And G5's army is going to go down. But we've got a counterattack coming in from G5, trying to come in with the only units he has. The Reaver still alive over here. It's run out of... well, he does get a shot off on the Archon, which is pretty good, but... looks like we do have a storm coming in on G5's remaining units. He's trying to go for some form of aggression. He's trying to find some form of damage. He's down 50 supply now, though, and this is where the game may be out of reach. But yeah, that was a nice try by G5. Maybe if he'd gone for the expansions, he could have put himself in a winnable position, because he would have guaranteed killed this base. And he could have killed this base as well. My voice is going. We've been casting now for 2 and a bit hours. This is definitely looking to be one of our longest casts so far in the STPL Season 4, and it's been some damn good games. But looks like this could be the push that ends the game here. G5 doesn't have many units. He's got no tech units to help defend. And it is nothing but Zealots and Dragoons, and he's pretty good at controlling them. I will give G5 that. He's done a very good job with them, but there's only so far Zealots and Dragoons can take you. When you look at the upgrades as well, he's on +1 attack against 3-1. I should have shown that a little bit earlier, but we definitely saw the Forges get a lot more use from hiya. That was from the additional economy. He could afford it, and he has definitely done a good job with it. But here we go. The Archon's going to try and come in here, try and make the final stand for G5. G5 back on 2 bases. One of them mined out, the second about to mine out as well. Archons are damn strong. They are killing so many Dragoons. Oh my goodness. And there's DTs in here as well. So he is going to clean up this army, but he's now 100 supply behind. And the last stand by the heroic Archons, they will go down in Protoss history. Or at least they would do if history wasn't written by the winners. And it looks like hiya is going to win game number 2. There we go, GG. G5 taps out. That's 7 Gs now for G5. As hiya wins game number 2. We'll be going into game number 3 when we get back after this short break. Okay guys, welcome back. We are going into game number 3. This time we're going to have Swan, who's a brand new player here for Wico. We've not seen him play in the STPL just yet, but his opponent is going to be the one, the only, the Miracle Toss, the only 2 crown winner so far. The most wins of any player in the entire STPL. He's overtaken kogeT to take the number 3 spot, and he is going higher and higher and higher. He played 3 incredible games recently in this season. His game against Zealot was astounding. His PvZ is on another level at the moment, and Dewalt is here to take another win. And he needs to. If he cannot win this game, iRk are going to lose the series 3-0. But if there's anyone who's going to give them a win, it's going to be the Miracle Toss. He is one of the only players who's beaten Shine. He beat him in a 25-minute macro game on the Mantra. And he is incredibly, incredibly good. Let's have a look at the map they're going into. It's one of our older maps as Neo Moon Glaive. We've had a lot of ZVPs here. And Zerg have historically had a better chance on here than Protoss have. We've had 13 of the game so far. And the recent one was Ret versus Venom, where we had the return of Liquid Ret playing for Ash, taking down Venom from NetWars. But either way, let's get into it. It's game number 3, and it's going to be a damn good one. Let's head in. Oh my goodness, I've just been going on a rant about everything. Starting us off in the bottom left-hand corner in the green, it's Dewalt. Starting us off in the top middle, it is in the other green, it's Swan. I've just been going on about Mokujin and Tekken, and my mic has been muted the whole time. Oh my goodness. Basically, I agree with Doc in the fact that in Tekken you have Mokujin, who is essentially a random character. But in Tekken, neither player knows who the character is. Neither player knows. You both start the game with exactly the same information. Whereas in Brood War, one player starts with the information of what the other person's race is, and they can do whatever they want, and they also know their opponent's race, whereas the other player does not know what their opponent's race is, what they're playing against, and what they have to prepare for. Okay, so Dewalt going for a more conservative Forge Fast Expand here. Gonna play a little bit more standard. Doc, you think that's bad? The first time I ever did STPL, I casted 2 full games with my mic muted. And back then, no one used to watch me. So I was just casting to nobody. And then when I checked the VODs afterwards, I was like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. That was in 2015. I like to think that I've grown from my mistakes, but I never did. Oh my goodness, that was a fun time. The only thing that's changed is I ended up putting a lot of work into making the overlays look cool, because That makes up for my poor casting. But, and also the number of people watching has grown up, has gone up. It's gone up. Maybe if I casted with my mic muted, it'd be better. I'd look like less of an idiot. I wouldn't be able to come out with so many hot takes that are just wrong. It'd be perfect. Mute cast. What I could do, like, this could be an idea for an event. It's a build your own tournament casting, right? I just observe the game, I don't say anything, and then across many different channels, people cast the game themselves. That could be a really like cool idea for a weird like caster show. Can you imagine like a caster show match where people are like, casters sign up to cast the games, and then viewers vote on who the best cast is? That would be incredibly fun. That would be a really cool idea for an event, and now Zero's gonna take it, and then everyone's gonna think it's his idea, and they'll hate me again. No! But looks like the first cell that gets in doesn't do any damage, does go down to the Lings. May have killed one of the drones. Yeah, I'm only kidding about Zero. I really like Zero. It's just whenever I look about stuff about BSL and how well it's doing, I get really depressed because like me comparing myself to Zero is like me comparing my wealth to Jeff Bezos, essentially. Like I'm never gonna get to that level of wealth. It's just not possible. I've just got to be happy with where I am, and then hope that at some point it'll get a little bit bigger. But BSL is like 100. Well, it's nearly 10 times bigger than STPL is. People are talking about it all the time. BSL on the Pylon show, like people bring it up. They'll talk about the games and stuff, and then I'm like, can someone spare some time to talk about the STPL, please? Doc saying my casting has improved immensely, thank you very much. It probably helps that I'm not casting with Rapid anymore. Kaboom! That was a below the belt, like, what is even the word for that? Below the belt cuss. Oh my god. I shouldn't say below the belt when Rapid's involved, if we're honest, but we've got Overlord Speed coming in, Hydra Range coming in. We've got the first couple of Corsairs moving around, haven't really been able to do too much. He's not even killed a Overlord yet. We've got Swan doing a really good job with that. Now this is a 3-hatch Hydra push. A lot of Hydras heading on over the map. Definitely want to talk about the game a little bit rather than trying to troll Rapid when he can't get involved anymore, and I never want to speak to him again. But there we go. We've got the third hatchery done. Is this a 973? 3 drones? 7? Oh no. 6 drones. Is this 10 drones or 9? 9 drones. So it's a 963 with double gas. Going for the double gas when you're going for a Hydra push is really weird. I guess it gives you the ability of actually transitioning out. Mind Flayer, I'm assuming you didn't hear the reason why he's disappeared from everywhere. I'm not going to go through it on stream again, I've already spoken about it, but if you knew what he did, you would maybe understand why I would never ever want to speak to him again. Okay, so the first forge is going to go down, +1 is not finished. A little bit unfortunate here, but he does need to hold on. He's got a lot of cannons, which is going to help him. But he is on borrowed time at the moment. 3 additional gateways coming in. At the back is a second forge done in the main, not quite yet. Looks like Storm isn't researched either. Now a DT is going to sneak its way around the edge of the map. And this is the great equalizer here. And looks like Swan isn't going to see the DT. I wouldn't imagine if he saw that shimmer, that would be incredible. I mean, is this going to be a big drop? He's faking a drop. Look at this. But he's going to lose all the Overlords for free. Probes have been pulled as well. While this is going on, he's going in at the front. We'll zoom out a little bit to keep an eye on this. The Overlords all dying, though. That is not what you want happening, but there's no units to defend the cannons. Dewalt is in a very difficult spot, but if he can hold on here, if he can hold on, he's got a DT. In the natural, there is absolutely no defense up here. There's no way of Swan building any units. He's 41 and 3. He has no way of building supply. Dewalt is going to have to sack his natural. He's going to have to rely on defending his main, and he is going to have to hope that he can kill every single DT here. There is going to be no defense back at home. It's 35 over 27. Dewalt still has his DT going for drones, and he has to defend his main. If Dewalt loses this game, as I mentioned, the series is over. Dewalt is the miracle toss for a reason. Is he going to win again from a realistically unwinnable position? He's doing so well. That sack of the Overlords may have lost Swan a perfect advantage. Zealots coming in to attack here. The High Templar does have energy. Storm, he forgot the Storm energy. It's 21 probes against 12 drones. More and more drones are going to be dying here. There's no reaction from Swan up here. 7 drones, 6 drones, 5 drones, 4 drones, 3 doesn't quite get it. The gateways are under fire though. The more Zealots are coming out. There's more Overlords down here. It's 16 out of 67 now. The High Templar goes down before Storm is done. But Dewalt is still alive. More drones dying. It's 3 drones, 2 drones, 1 drone. There is a single drone remaining for Swan. And if he cannot win with the Hydras he has, Dewalt is going to win the game. There's more cannons coming in the main. This is going to be such a close, tense moment here. The final drone is still alive, but it's mining gas. He isn't going to try and build any more drones. He's giving up. He is going all in. And can he make this work? The Overlords can deal... What the hell was that Storm? Dewalt, you're a good player, but I don't agree with that Storm right there. That could have just lost you the game. But here we go. Looks like the final gateway is going to go down. Another gate being added on at the top of the base. The Hydra Den is about to die. There's still only a single drone. There is no drones remaining. That is it. What you see is what you get. Dewalt can eventually win this game by just holding on. Overlord drop is done. The Overlords are going to pull away the Hydras. But look at this. 2 Corsairs remain. Oh my god, he's going to kill the Overlords with the Hydras in them. Looks like the the probes are going to catch some of the Hydras out. Dewalt has performed another miracle. This is so damn good. The Hydra's going down. There's a single Hydra left. It cannot retreat into the Overlords. 1 supply. The Hydra does not die. We don't see naught supply to end the game, but we see naught drones. Very well played by Dewalt. A little bit lucky that he got the DT up there, but very, very well done. What a tense third game, and that keeps iRk alive in the series. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 4. Is Kame gonna beat Bypass, and are we gonna see an ace match? We'll find out when we get back after this. Okay guys, welcome back. Starting us off here in the top, well, what am I saying? Starting us off here for iRk, it's going to be Kame. He's also in the top left. I got ahead of myself a little bit. I'm looking at the game at the same time, obviously. But basically, Kame is here. iRk are still 2-1 down. Dewalt, the Miracle Toss, once again performing another one of his patented miracles, which has definitely earned him the nickname more than once now. Castamuse saying that very, very good. Now, we do have game 4. If Kame can win here against his opponent, we will be going into a game 5. If he can't, Wico will be taking the win. Now, one thing to note about Kame, he's not played too many games recently. He played 3 games in Season 3. He played a lot in Season 2 and a lot in Season 1. But he's back again. His opponent going to be bypass for Wico. One of the newer players added. I mean, all of the Wico players are new, essentially, given the fact that they've only played one season of the STPL. But basically, this is going to be game 4. The map we're going to be heading into is going to be Paradise, made by Gasomi, one of the up-and-coming Korean map makers. ZVP, Zerg have had a very, very good time on this map so far. We've had a lot of ZVP, with Zerg winning most of them in very quick games. There's been a lot of Hydra busts on this map. I thought at the end of the day, this would be a very big macro game, but we've not actually had any major macro games on this map so far. So without further ado, let's get into game number 4. It's Kame versus Bypass, and let's see what's going to happen. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, fighting for iRk from Sweden. It's Kame. That's our purple Zerg. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner in the silver, fighting for Wico. It's Bypass. And little did I know, and I'm so glad Castamuse is in the chat again, Bypass was one of the Vant Star League qualifiers. He's apparently a very famous Protoss player in South Korea, so that's really, really cool. Okay, so while we go into a little bit of a lull here, we've got an overpull, sorry, most likely an overpull coming in from Kame. We're probably going to have a gate first coming in from Bypass. One of the reasons why I want STPL to be a global league, and why I think it's been great so far, is A, you get games like Dewalt just then, and B, it bridges the gap between the two scenes. Because one of the big problems with the foreign Brood War scene is the fact it's very self-contained. People think Koreans don't care about it, which isn't necessarily true. And Koreans don't really play with foreigners that much. But by mixing everyone together, the players you mix together get better and better and better. And you can just look at that from Dewalt. Dewalt has been playing with a lot more Koreans recently. In the STPL, he's beaten players like Zealot now. And that's all because of the practice he's had with Korean players. Like, bridging the gap between the two scenes is something I've wanted to do a long time. Like, with Bishop, I was going to try and do something with Hammock, but nothing ever came of it. I should probably speak to him in the new year and try and organize something. But it was getting expanded against Overpool into a 12 hatch. Very, very standard opening. But Hammock is like a team league in Korea where they essentially have tiers of players. Kind of like the BJ Destruction League, which is a really funny name for English people. Or English-speaking people, because what a BJ is. It's broadcast jockey, much like a disc jockey, which is probably where that acronym comes from. But basically, we were going to do like a best of STPL versus best of Hammock, but we never actually got it off the ground. So hopefully, hopefully I'm going to... I'll try and speak to Bishop in the new year and see if we can organize something. There can be lag, but then lag affects both players. And if anything, foreigners do better in lag because Koreans never play in lag at all. Like, Koreans play every game at turn rate 24, whereas foreigners can be 24, 20, 16, 12, depending on where you are. And like, if lag was really the big problem, no one would be playing with Peruvian players. But people have been playing with Peruvian players for 20 plus years. Like, Peruvians on IC Cup, man, they were laggy. And there's a good reason for that. The internet infrastructure in Peru isn't very good. There's a lot of LAN cafes. And there's a huge Peruvian scene that we don't even know about. And I really appreciate that, because Danny and Terra are, of course, the two Peruvians that everyone knows about. You've got players like La Abuela, just trying to think some others. But we know about those ones, because I think those three have internet at home. This is live. It is a replay, but it's casted live. The games were played on Sunday. It's a global team league with players playing all over the world, all at the same time. We have over 1,000 players registered in the STPL. We've got over 1,300 or 400 games played. And every single week, 5 best of 5s are played at exactly the same time. Go iRk as well. But outside of the big 4 or 5 that everyone knows about, there is a huge number of Peruvian players playing Brood War still. They've got a really big self-contained scene. When you look at like the amount of viewers that like Oliver Patrick and like Bob Malcolm get, they get huge numbers of viewers and stuff. Like Oliver Patrick is insane. He gets thousands of viewers watching Brood War every single cast. It's just a shame they are so self-contained, but it's because most of them don't know English, just like we don't know Spanish, so you can't really complain. But I've always said Peru is kind of like the Korea of the Americas, and then Poland is like the Korea of Europe, because there's an incredibly big incredibly big scene that we just don't have access to as the English-speaking audience. But back to this game, of course, we are in Game 4. This is a very important game. If Kame cannot win this one, Wico will be winning the series, but if he can win, it's going to go to game at number 4. Now we've got second gas coming up, Stargate is on the way, first cannon is on the way, which is very late for the first cannon actually. Okay, we have the Hydronen coming up. Pretty good here. Yeah, the Polish people do speak English, but there's still like the NetWars forums, which is a huge community that we can't read. Koreans are the best at Brood War, yes. They have had the biggest scene for the longest time. Korean Brood War was the first ever esport, without a doubt. They had thousands and thousands of people attending live events. Look up the Gwangali Beach Pro League Finals from 2006 or 7, I think it was. It was the first esport, but here we go. Looks like we have got Hydra Bust activating here for Kame. There's not that many cannons back here, so if he can beat through these Zealots, he has a chance of taking out these cannons before they can finish. The Corsairs coming in, but unlike in the game with Dewalt, Kame is not going to fly all his Overlords into his opponent's base. And that was definitely a big problem for Swan in the last game, but Kame's getting a lot of probes here. It's 23 Hydras, 23 drones against 27 probes. The cannon's going down. Kame's may have just done it. It looks like he's going to break his opponent. There's nothing here defending the wall again. And there we go. I think this is going to be it. Looks like this is going to be game over. We are going to be going into an ace match here. A great finish for the series. A Hydra Bust once again winning on Paradise. I wonder if it's possible for Zerg to not lose with a... not lose a... What's it called? Oh my goodness. Why have I forgotten English again? Not lose to a Hydra Bust. Like, I've not seen a Protoss player survive a Hydra Bust on this map yet. But there we go. Let's go into game number 5. It's going to be the ace match. In chat, why don't you have a guess of who's going to be playing? And we'll find out when we get back after this short break. Okay, we are here for the ace match. We have the two-time crown-winning Dewalt back again, the Miracle Toss against Bypass. Starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, fighting for Wico. It is, of course, Bypass. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, fighting in the blue for iRk. It's Dewalt. The Miracle Toss himself. Now, he performed a miracle and took down Bypass's teammate Swan. Can he do another one and win a PvP against one of the best amateur Protoss players in Korea? Bypass, a very famous Protoss player, according to Castamuse, one of the Van Starling qualifiers, which is not which wasn't a very easy event to qualify for. So this is really, really cool. Now, Dewalt's PvP has come strength to strength. It obviously helps him a lot that basically the entire foreign scene is PvP, so he gets a million games worth of practice. But this is really cool that our final series of the week, our final series of 2020 has come down to the ace match. It's really, really cool that we get Dewalt in it as well, because this is really cool. Now we've got two gates from Dewalt against the one gate here into a gas by Bypass. So Dewalt is going to be the one playing a little bit more aggressive here. This map is definitely one of the cooler maps in the STPL made by Mello. He will see, of course, the Cybercore coming up. I wonder if he'll go for a proxy pylon, but mana pylon on here, unless you get it here, isn't very effective, so I don't think we'll probably see that. But it is possible. He is going for nothing but zealots, so he's going to have a lot of minerals that he can spend on a pylon, but looks like he's going to save up for his second minerals to be sure. Now, one thing you can do is go for a pylon in your opponent's main base and go for a shield battery. It looks like he is going to do them in a pylon. There we go. Two probes stuck, the third one not going to be. Now, sometimes we see the Protoss player leave this and let it finish. I think Dewalt is going to be the player that will cancel it. There's no reason to let this die. Is he going to let it finish? I suppose it keeps your opponent's zealot busy. But I just don't see this being worth it. Yeah, because that pylon goes down. Of course, he's been mining a lot more minerals than Bypass has, so maybe it works out. Isunj is Bypass's name, apparently. Isunj Sonsu. Isunj Sonsu. I only know that in Korean. I know Sonsu. That's it. But there we go, we've got two Zealots here against the single Dragoon, but obviously Zealots against Dragoons. Micro can win the day. But looks like two Dragoons are out now. We've got the Probe coming in here, which does get taken down. A Probe going down for his opponent as well. Dewalt in an okay position. Looks like he's going to try and target down some of the Probes instead. Zealot was actually sort of sat back a little bit asleep at the wheel in the mineral line. I mean, this is just kind of abusing the economy a little bit. It's not really doing anything. He's not really killing anything, which is definitely a good thing for Bypass. Dewalt definitely not managing to get much damage done. But obviously the game is still not over. We've got double goons coming out now for both players. Looks like Dewalt did build two more Zealots. I'm definitely better at Japanese than Korean. Okay, Bypass gonna expand. This is obviously a little bit of a win for Dewalt, because if you expand in PvP, that is like 4 Dragoons you've not built. So you can go ahead with a bigger army. They're both equal on workers. Dewalt is actually ahead in supply as well. The things aren't looking too bad, but he will be behind in tech. Dead Infested saying he wishes I had Holy World in this series. Holy World has been in the STPL before. We had very good games on it. It may come back in the future, may not, but we've had it in the tournament. And it was a really good map. It was on, it was in Season 2, so you can go and check out the VODs on YouTube if you want to go and see the games. If you are kind of new to the STPL and you want to follow what's going on, you can follow us on Twitter, by the way, at twitter.com/STPLTV. You can sub on YouTube at youtube.com/STPLTV, and you can check all the links out below the stream. I still remember the game on Holy World where Radley played against Eriador, and Eriador was basing his build around taking the command center in the middle of the map, and then essentially Radley killed it just before he got there. But there we go. Let's see this engagement. We've got Dewalt pushing forward. This is a good number of Dragoons, but a good engagement so far by Bypass means this isn't going to go very well for Dewalt, but nice target firing so far by Dewalt. Going to give him a little bit of an edge. Bypass is taking a little bit of a supply advantage. Obviously his Nexus is done, so the onus is on Dewalt to do a little bit of damage here. We've got the first shuttle coming on in. Third gateway coming on in as well. No observatory or Robo Bay just yet, so no Reaver's going to be coming in, and Bypass is definitely starting the game with an advantage. And just while we go back to the game just being a little bit slower again, I just want to point out, I just need to remember that if I keep the Dodal unfree, like if I keep it captive forever, people will just spam chat forever with free the Dodal, so my my Twitch statistics of chatters will go up and up and up. So that's all I've got to do. I've just got to keep the Dodal captive. Okay, Dewalt. Hey, wait. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's his Robo support bay. I was like, where is it? He's building a Reaver. Where's his support bay? Thing is, okay, I'm gonna give people an ultimatum at the end of the cast because it is the final cast of 2020, and I'm gonna give people a way if they want to free the Dodal. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. People aren't gonna like it, but that's how it is. You're gonna listen to it now. Dewalt is obviously behind in probes, given the fact he is down in workers right now, but he is going to be up a hell of a lot in Dragoons. He's going to be up in tech as well, and Reavers are very, very strong units, so Dewalt's micro in PvP as well is stellar. There we go. Looks like an observer is going to come in here. There's no observer for Dewalt just yet. He's lucky his opponent didn't go Reavers, but he does have the observatory now. The first two Reavers are out though, and this is going to be the push timing here for Dewalt. Bypass is going to see this with his observer. Looks like, oh, this is actually really good for Dewalt. Part of Bypass's army is fighting part or all of Dewalt's army, so he is going to get a big engagement in the middle of the map for free. Look at this, he gets a few units, and all of a sudden he's got two Reavers against one. Now he is going to be fighting against a bridge, so you have to respect Reavers, you have to. Now nice couple of Scarabs coming in from Dewalt, looks like he's going to push forward once again. How is that Zealot alive? How many of those things does it need to do? But here we go, looks like the Reaver's getting a good engagement so far on the Dragoons. Very, very good engagement, but one of the Reavers attacking the other one. Looks like a Reaver going down from Bypass. Dewalt actually losing a lot of his army here. This is definitely not good, and it looks like Bypass may be in a position to win this game from here, but Dewalt does have his Nexus up. He is going to be falling back home, and the game is not over just yet. But that was a really, really good engagement there by Bypass. Definitely not the kind of engagement that Dewalt wanted. The Reavers going down a little bit too soon. Wasn't able to keep them alive with the shuttle. I think his shuttle got targeted very early, but he is still going to be able to hold on to this this bridge. it's going to be very difficult for Bypass to push. So we're going to go back to a little bit of a lull while both players kind of build back up again. But Dewalt definitely at a disadvantage. But as I said before, and I will say 1,000 times, this is the Miracle Toss. The Miracle Toss is in a position to perform miracles. He's done it once this series already, winning a game of ZVP where he lost his natural. Can he do it again? Bypass coming in with a lot of units. This is definitely going to be a big problem. The Reaver is going to have to waddle its way to defend, and Dewalt is going to have to give up the bridge. I think this is just going to be the way it's going to have to go. Looks like Dewalt going to pull back. Going to try and sandwich the army. This is a good move. The Reaver from Dewalt, of course, coming up. Going to get a couple of Scarabs off for free.
Hailing frequencies open.
Thank you, Master Ray, for the host. Obviously a player from red, but here we go. Dewalt coming in from multiple angles, gets the shuttle. No, he doesn't. The shuttle's alive. How is the shuttle alive? Oh, the Reaver goes down and the shuttle at the same time, but Dewalt's held. Dewalt is held onto this area. There we go. Yeah, Master Ray's viewers, if you've just tuned in, which you just have, we are in the ace match between iRk and Wico. We're in the final game of the STPL for 2020. There is a break for the players over the Christmas period, a break for me over the period as well. And Dewalt is still in. He's in a position to perform some miracles. Is he going to be able to do it? That is the question we all have. And it's looking close. Dewalt pulling back in the work account. Obviously Bypass ahead by quite a margin. He is going to go into a third Nexus as well. It is open mineral only, which isn't too impactful in PvP. But Dewalt definitely not out of the woods just yet. Oh, Dewalt actually killed the critter because he thought it was, well, I guess it just gets it out of the way. Very important to do that sometimes. Now, Bypass, his units kind of out in the middle of the map, not really doing too much. Observer from Dewalt gonna scoot past. He will, I guess they were defending against any shuttles, which is a good move, but now they are going to move in. Looks like Bypass getting ready to expand again up to the top right, checking for hidden bases as well. Now it looks like Dewalt going to move into a position to get his Reavers into the main base. Now, Bypass has a lot of workers here. Okay, the pylon spotted these. I don't think this is going to work. Dewalt may actually lose all of his army here. This is going to be a sandwich and a half. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can get the full engagement on the screen. Looks like Dewalt actually getting a good engagement at the top side. The bottom side does go back. He could actually rush across the bridge, but looks like he doesn't want to do that just yet. Dewalt getting ready to maybe go in with his Reavers to the main base. Obviously, the Dragoon's going to get into a position to try and defend against this, but they're not in the main. So these will be able to get into the main base, and there isn't any defense here. So let's show the probe numbers for the time being so we can see what's going on. 2 Reavers dropping off. Let's see how good the Scarabs are. The first Scarab is definitely going to bug, or it didn't. Oh my goodness, that's a good Scarab. But of course, these Reavers are probably in a lot of trouble. The Reavers do, oh my god, they're getting so much damage. And there we go. He kills so many Dragoons. He's going to pull back. Looks like he did try and push in at the front. Didn't manage to get through. There is, of course, 2 Reavers here. But he's evened up the supply count. The worker count is much closer. Looks like the Reaver's going to come back in. Try to go into the natural. That Reaver isn't going to be able to do anything. That Scarab's not going to move. Now, that was a good Scarab again. Looks like the Reavers are going to go down. A little bit unfortunate. Definitely dropping in the wrong location there. That's oh, the Scarab gets out. Oh my god. The final Scarab gets 2 kills. But yeah, the Dewalt definitely overextended just a little bit there in that engagement. DTs come. Oh no, DTs. Where are the observers? Oh no. Please tell me the game doesn't end with DTs. This will be like the TVing OSL. Is he going to shoot his own units? Yes, he is. He's shooting his own units to kill the DT. This is a pro move. Look at that. Look at Dewalt. Pimp his play. Nicely done. Saves his Reaver. Does do a lot of damage to his Dragoons though. But it's not the end of the world. Obviously he needs another observer and he needs one quickly. But he's building a shuttle. The DT going down is a pretty big deal. Looks like we do have the probe. Gonna build it, possibly a hidden base down here. Possibly just going for a pylon to scout. But the Observer is out now. He is safe against any further DTs. The supply obviously ahead for Bypass. He's 4 workers ahead and a huge number of supply in army ahead. But Dewalt is still not out. Bypass, of course, ahead in bases, but the other base is a mineral only. It's only got 5 sets of minerals, so it's not the biggest deal. Now, Dewalt can't push here. Dewalt would need the... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. The Reavers! The Reavers! No! The Reavers go down! One of them survives, but Dewalt has to pull back. He is not going to be able to break this army. There is no way he is breaking this army, and this is going to be the last stand. Storm coming in. Storm on the Reaver. Reaver unable to shoot. Dewalt is good at PvP, but can he overcome these numbers? He's won incredible engagements before, but I think Bypass has done it. Dewalt taps out GG, and Bypass wins the ace match and wins the series 3-2 for Wico. Now, of course, it's unfortunate that Dewalt didn't win that game. I nearly clicked Dewalt as the winner because I just assume he's always going to win. But that's how it goes sometimes. Let's have a look at the results screen and then we can close out the stream. So here we go. Let's go over here. Let's mute this. And let's actually go to the results screen. Wow. You can look at Charmander there, but yeah, so this series, it was a pretty damn good series. We had 5 incredible games. It was very back and forth. Well, I say very back and forth. I guess back and forth would be 1-1-1-1, but it was 2-2 into a loss. Oh, a loss for iRk at the end, but they showed how strong they are once again, proving why iRk are one of the best teams in the world at Brood War. They have so many good players, so many good stories to tell. Dewalt, once again, I mean, that extra game he played was absolutely incredible. So the Swan game, obviously the Bypass game was a little bit more one-sided. It happens. It does. You know, it's just one of those things. We can't really say too much else about that. But 2-2 into a 3-2 victory for Wico. iRk are probably not going to be super happy about that. Wico are going to be happy given the fact that that was so close. But Dewalt definitely going to be feeling the sting of that PvP. So I promise you, as this was the final stream of 2020, we're going to go back into the VR studio to sort of show off the final thing. I am going to give you a condition to free the Dordel. I don't know how, if I'm saying that right, it's German. I have no idea whatsoever, but I will give you a condition. My one reason for not wanting a Rasitier Air de Dordel on my screen, a shaved cock and balls, is because I want eventually to try and get a corporate sponsor for the STPL to make it grow, to make it better for the players, to give players more money, to give all the teams something to play for rather than just the top 3. But we can't do that without a corporate sponsor, is the way I look at it. Other tournaments have done this, okay? BSL just got BSL 11, 12, and 13 funded, okay? If you guys want to help out the STPL, I will put up a Matcherino page for STPL Season 5. I didn't even know if I'm going to do a Season 5, but now I know for sure I am. Because if you guys can replace the corporate sponsor for me, if you can give us the initial $1,000 before the start of Season 5, I will free the Dordel. You will have probably around 3 months worth of time to do that. I'll put the Matcherino link up. It's perfectly safe. I will refund the money if STPL Season 5 doesn't happen for whatever reason. And that will do it. Esport Fund, I'm going to apply for their sponsorship again like we have for Season 3 and Season 2. They've been amazing sponsors. The Esport Fund want other donations. They don't want to be the main sponsor. So that's why I was looking for corporate sponsors, but I thought that a shaved cock and ball would make that kind of difficult because of how ridiculous it looks. But for Season 3, nothing is going to change. The Dordel will stay in its cage because I am not putting a shaved cock and balls on my screen. And I know I'm sitting here with a Fox Girl avatar, right? But that's not the point. That isn't the point, okay? That is not the point. It's all good, but I will say that we have had some great series to do. We've had some great series throughout the STPL Season 3. A huge thank you to everyone who has tuned in, has watched. This is going to be the final stream of 2020 for me. Obviously, 2020 has been a bit of a weird year. I might do like a video to like sum up this year in STPL or something, but Season 4 has been great so far. I have really enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, wherever you are. And I will see you guys in the new year for some more STPL Season 4 action. See you guys then. You know, this is the one problem with being in VR. Now I have to try and go back to OBS and it's difficult, but I'll see you guys next time. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here. And just while we're at it as well, so if you have missed any of the previous games from the STPL and you do want to watch them, they are all available on the YouTube channel. All of them have got chapters for Season 4 as well, so really great way to be able to watch everything. I'll link this right now so you guys can check it out. But there's been some really good games, even in Season 1, 2, and 3 as well, so yeah, Radley, if you want to get a company paying 1k and sponsoring the STPL, that is even better. If you can do that, that is perfect, okay? That is the task. It's all good, but I'm going to find someone to raid. Once again, have a great Christmas and New Year. We're giving the players a break, which is why there's no STPL over the period. It also gives me a break as well. And that's just how it is. So where is my Twitch window? I cannot find it anywhere. I still have my headset on. So I'm doing this with my headset on. By the way, my Oculus strap got replaced today. So we're finally back with the proper good strap, and it feels so much better. VR is so good. Like, VR is absolutely incredible, and I would recommend anybody to use VR if you haven't tried it. The games are great. And it's just overall just a great experience. Now, there's no one I actually know playing Brood War. Like, there's a few people that I've seen, like Jiraiya, but I don't know how good how his stream actually is. He is getting high, I think, which I don't really want to raid. There is Blackman PL, but I think I've heard that he can be... Am I thinking of someone else? Is he the guy who, like, paid Shiny to play for him? I can't remember. Oh, there is a Matrino. There is a Matrino. If you click here, you can put the code in STPL Season 4, and you can add 50 cents to prize ball completely free. That is the Matrino link for Season 3. Who should I raid? Has anyone got any friends that they know are good streamers or they want raided? Because I genuinely don't know any of these people, and I don't want to raid a random person. Because I don't want to accidentally end up raiding a racist. Ah, here we go. Hit 'em Up has turned his stream on. There we go. Go watch Logan. Go watch Logan, everyone. Yeah, end of days SC2 is Logan, aka Hit 'em Up. He's playing Zerg on ladder right now, rather than watching the ace match, which, not gonna lie, I'm a little bit disappointed in Hit 'em Up there, but he is obviously a member of Ash, so he doesn't really care about iRk or Wico. Understandable. But I am going to be making some more content over the Christmas break, so we should have a lot more stuff to show off. So here we go, guys. Enjoy watching Hit 'em Up stream. Have a very, very good holiday period. See you guys after.